Good evening, everyone. Notice of this meeting stating the date, place, and time has been disseminated as required under the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975. Copies of the agenda are also posted on the city's website and Linden TV for the public. This meeting is now called to order. Mr. Clerk, can you please conduct a prayer and flag salute?
God of the universe, look thou with favor upon these here assembled, and bestow thy guidance upon the members of the governing body in their deliberations. This we ask in thy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the event of an emergency, the proper method of exiting the council chambers is through the 3 doors in the rear of the room. Occupants should proceed down the staircase, out the front door, and move away from the area of the front steps. Any member of the public wishing to speak during the public comment session at the end of the meeting, please sign in on the white sheets provided in the front of the room with your name and address. If you wish to speak on the 2026 budget, sign in on the green sheets. Again, for the budget, that's the green sheets at the front of the room. If you wish to speak on the 2026 SID budget, please sign in on the pink sheets at the front of the room. Please turn off all cell phones or place them on vibrate. If you must take a call, please leave the council chambers to do so. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Ormond. Javik.
Present.
Caldwell.
Excused?
Mohammed.
Present.
Watt.
Here.
Delgado. Strano. Armstead.
Excused?
Here.
Rodriguez.
Here.
Hudak.
Here.
Mrs. Yamakaitis.
Here. Okay, can we have approval of the public session minutes of April 21st, 2026, please?
Madam President, I move for approval of the public meetings of the regular meeting of April 21st, 2026, and respectfully ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond. Javik.
Yes.
Mohammed.
Yes.
Watt.
Yes.
Delgado.
Yes.
Armstead.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hudak.
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis.
Yes. Okay, we have a few presentations this evening. We're going to start with the Lupus Awareness Month proclamation. Mayor Armstead. There you go.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'll be reading a proclamation declaring the month of June as Lupus Awareness Month. It reads as follows: whereas Lupus Awareness Month shines a vital light on an unpredictable and often misunderstood autoimmune disease, a condition where the immune system mistakenly attacks healthy tissue, causing pain, inflammation, and potential damage to vital organs, and affecting the daily lives of countless individuals. And whereas this month brings heartfelt attention to the more than 1.5 million people worldwide living with the devastating effects of lupus, it reminds us that each year, over 100,000 individuals, including men, children, and the vast majority of young women, receive a life-changing diagnosis. And whereas Lupus Awareness Month underscores the critical need for increased medical research and the development of safer, more effective treatments, ensuring that funding aligns with the true magnitude of the severity of this illness. And whereas this observance raises essential awareness so that physicians can more readily recognize the complex symptoms of lupus, helping patients avoid years of uncertain suffering and guiding them swiftly towards an accurate diagnosis and proper care. And whereas Lupus Awareness Month emphasizes our deep, compassionate commitment to educating, supporting, and uplifting the resilient individuals and families in our community who navigate the challenge of lupus every single day. And whereas we are called to unite our voices to increase awareness across our nation and around the world, fostering a global community of deep understanding, enduring support, and newfound hope for all those bravely facing the profound impacts of this disease. Now therefore be resolved that I, Mayor Derek Armstead, do hereby designate the month of May as Lupus Awareness Month in the city of Linden, New Jersey, and further recognize May 19th as a special day of awareness, and I encourage our entire community to stand together with those affected by lupus, advocating for greater research, funding, expanded education and healthcare professionals, and a future filled with better treatments and ultimate healing. Signed by myself, Mayor Derek Armstead.
Mayor, we have, please come forward. We have some people here from lupus.
And you will all notice that we wear our colors to acknowledge lupus. I first found out about lupus back in 1986. One of my mother's good friends was diagnosed, and back then she had fallen ill and again didn't understand what was going on. So it went on for a couple of years until she was diagnosed. They found out that she had lupus, and unfortunately, the treatments that they had then aren't quite as good as the treatments that they have today. So she perished shortly thereafter. But she was a wonderful person. In fact, my mother used to babysit for her son at one point. So, I mean, she babysat for everybody, but that's my first encounter with lupus. And to be quite honest, people don't realize that men get lupus also, because my uncle, who is diagnosed with lupus, he's up in age now. He's in his 80s, but he was diagnosed with lupus about 5-6 years ago. So it does affect men as well. So and awareness is very important. So.
Well, Mr. Mayor, if I might, we're going to make you an ambassador,
Ma'am, can you please speak on the mic?
an advocate, because everything that you said was absolutely. And on that,
Yeah. Can you speak into the mic, please?
as I said, we're going to make the Honorable Mayor a lupus advocate and an ambassador to share the story, because everything that you shared was absolutely true. And your mom is now what we refer to as a lupus hero, a lupus angel who maintains lupus legacy. On behalf of the Lupus Foundation of America and the Northeast Region of New Jersey Support Group, we have warriors who are standing beside us, and we thank you, City of Linden. We have a congregation that is over at the library right now watching us live stream, and so that we would be able to celebrate. We thank the distinguished members of the council for wearing purple, because this year's theme is Make Lupus Visible. So for today, we are visible. We thank the Linden Library for their support, and we continue to make sure that lupus is aware for all of us involved. So thank you again, and I have a packet for you that came from our Lupus Advocacy Summit in Washington, D.C., where we were on the Hill and we turned the Capitol purple. So thank you.
Okay, thank Mayor, stay down there. Our next presentation is to acknowledge Public Works Week. I'd like to also ask Councilman Delgado, you please take this down to the mayor, and ask Dave Martinez, Assistant Superintendent of Public Works, to come forward.
So this is National Public Works Week. And I know sometimes these guys get a bad rap, because when it snows, if you don't plow 100% correctly, it's their fault. If you don't get your garbage picked on time, it's their fault. But people don't realize just how important they are to the overall operation of a city. Sometimes they yell at these guys, but they're out there when it's 99 degrees. They're out there when it's below zero. They're plowing our streets. They're making special calls when you put your trash out when you're not supposed to. They do it all, okay? They sweep our streets. What else you guys do? Trim trees, sewage, potholes. They are a very important branch of government, so. They keep the parks clean. Anything else, Dave? He even gives financial advice. Just kidding, no. But anyway, we thank them for their services. We thank them for all they do, and we have a proclamation we're going to read. And it says, whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Linden. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for the rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and our children in the city of Linden to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Be it now and be it resolved that the mayor and the council of the city of Linden do hereby designate the week of May 17th through May 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Weeks. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies and activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing the quality of life. And it's passed today, May 19th, approved May 20th, 2026 by Michelle Yamakaitis, President of Council, and myself, Mayor Derek Armstead, and signed also by our clerk, Joseph Bodek. Thank you.
Yep, that's it. Okay. Mrs. Zach, we'll turn the floor over to you now for our 2026 municipal budget presentation.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the mayor and council for allowing me the privilege to present the 2026 municipal budget. This is my 30th year presenting our municipal budget. The municipal budget for 2026 is a total of $144,053,553.31. The budget's broken down into two operating expenses, salary and wages totaling $58,785,664.98, which comprises of our 671 full and part-time employees, 527 full-time, 144 part-time, including 59 school guards. The other operating expense category is our other expenses at $85,267,888.33. We like to illustrate on this chart the 9 categories of how our funds are appropriated. The number one priority is our public safety department, where we have a fully paid police department under Chief Hart, who also handles our dispatch and OEM, and we have a fully paid fire department under Chief Haskell, and our total appropriations for our public safety departments is $44,611,302.29, or roughly 30.97% of our expenditures are towards our public safety, which is our number one priority in keeping our residents safe. Our second largest category is our insurances at $27,936,000, or roughly 19.39%. Unfortunately, the insurances this year were hit hard. Our state health benefits increase was astronomical, as well as our liability insurance, where we have a joint insurance fund that we saw double-digit increases. Our workers' compensation, we've been working hard to try to reduce that under Chairman Bodek and Administrator Sheehy. We have regular safety training to try to reduce that wherever we possibly can. Our third largest category is our statutory expenses. Again, this is another area where we got hit hard with pensions. Pension increases were significant this year at $15,949,922.41, or roughly 11.07% of our appropriations are towards our statutory expenses. Our fourth category is our Community Services Department and our Parks and Recreation Department. Community Services is comprised of the Division of Public Works, Engineering, Transportation and Properties, Municipal Garage, and then we have the separate Department of Recreation and Parks at $15,311,792, or roughly 10.63% of our total appropriations goes towards those operations. Our fifth category is our general government at $15,052,770.75, or roughly 10.45%. Our general government are all the smaller departments that are not depicted on this chart, starting with the city clerk's office, to the mayor's office, the finance department, our tax collector's office, our tax assessor's office, our board of health, our social services, headed by John Watkins, does a tremendous job. So our total smaller departments are general government. Our sixth category is our debt service at $14,812,000, or roughly 10.28%. I'll be going into greater detail later on in the presentation, but it's important for us to understand that we have debt service and we try to maintain a level debt service annually. Our seventh category is our library, and under the state of New Jersey, there's a minimum requirement, and we cannot budget below that minimum, which is this year $3,758,765.86, or roughly 2.61% of our total appropriations. Our eighth category is known as Reserve for Uncollected Taxes. This is a non-spending appropriation account that every municipality has. Our total is $3,575,000, or roughly 2.48%. As a municipality, it is our responsibility for our tax collector to collect the taxes, and statutorily, we have to hand over 100% to the library, we have to hand over 100% to the Board of Education, 100% to the county, 100% of the levy for the library, and the reserve for uncollected taxes is the difference between us collecting 100% and where our tax collection rate is presently. We try to get as high as to 100% as possible, but we always have to budget for that reserve for uncollected taxes. And our last category is utilities, and Linden's not unique, as everyone has felt the pain at home with your own utilities increasing. Linden's seen increases with our 23 facilities that we are in charge of. It's $3,046,000, or roughly 2.12% of our total appropriations. Our next category that we wanted to talk about was our revenue, the other side of the budget. Our number one, local taxes, is our number one source for revenue, and every year we try to stabilize or reduce that whenever possible. But presently the levy is $71,831,819.62, or roughly 49.86% is derived from local taxation. Our second largest category for revenue is state aid at $20,146,635, or roughly 13.99%. Unfortunately, our state aid hasn't seen significant increases. 20 years ago, our state aid was higher than what it is now. I know the state has its own issues, but we would love to be able to see our gross receipts tax reinstated and see that number increase as it should be. Our third category is other special items. These are various agreements of revenue, reoccurring revenue, that our mayor and council have negotiated at $13,356,679.30, or roughly 9.27% of our revenue is generated through other special items. Our fourth category is our surplus at $11,500,000, or roughly 7.98% of our revenue is derived through our surplus, which we rejuvenate each year through our budget. We utilized a little bit more surplus this year because we're going to be seeing added assessments that are going to be coming online by November, and that additional money will be added back to our surplus. Our fifth category is known as pilots, which stands for payment in lieu of taxes. These are long-term tax exemptions that the city of Linden, depending on the year, gets 95% of that revenue, and 5% has to be shared with the County of Union. We realize annually recurring revenue of $11,160,167, or roughly 7.75%. If we didn't have this pilot revenue and it was just regular taxes, it would only be receiving the city 34.84% of the taxes. Our sixth category is our local revenues. We receive $4,972,465.78, or roughly 3.45%. These are various revenues that are listed on sheet 4 of the budget that range from our municipal court to abandoned properties to city clerks. These are ordinances and fees that we collect on a local level. Our seventh category, as I mentioned earlier, is the libraries, $3,758,765.86, or roughly 2.61% of our total revenue. Our eighth category are our grants and shared services, and we were fortunate enough this year to add to our shared services with the city of Rawley, and we're always looking to try to do shared services with any community. In addition, with grants, we have grants presently that we have in the budget, but once the budget's adopted, after the budget's adopted, we usually receive additional grants, and those grants you'll see on our resolutions that are considered Chapter 159 resolutions that will allow us to amend the budget and increase and add additional revenue to our budget. But right now, we're presently at $2,552,020.75, or roughly 1.77% of our revenue is derived through grants and shared services. Our ninth category is our delinquent taxes. As a revenue, it's $2,475,000, or 1.72%. There are certain taxpayers that pay their taxes delinquently, therefore they're hit with certain penalties, and that's a revenue that we utilize in the budget. And our last category is, our 10th category is our construction code fees. We have a phenomenal construction code official, Tracy W., that has been magnificent for the city of Linden. Just the first quarter alone, she's realized over $1.3 million in permits. But for the year, we've budgeted $2,300,000, or roughly 1.60%. And those fees that are collected directly offset every expense in her budget, from salary and wages to other expenses. And she does a tremendous job for the city of Linden. The mayor and council have worked extremely hard, along with Director Alex Laspinoso, in coming up with various redevelopment projects. These are just a list of some of them. We have well over 20 redevelopment projects that have brought in a total investment of over $1.2 billion. We have industrial, commercial, hotel square footage of over 4.8 million square feet. And again, just want you to understand the total anticipated for 2026 from the payment in lieu of tax revenue is a reoccurring revenue of $11,160,167. We also have additional revenues on the horizon. As I alluded to earlier, our tax assessor, Nigel Thompson, does a tremendous job when TCOs are issued in doing added assessments. And those are going to be some major industrial and commercial properties that we're going to see added on and replenish our surplus that we're utilizing in this year's budget, the additional. We also will see the fruition of 1 West redevelopment and 1001 West Elizabeth Avenue, formerly known as the United Lacquer property, as full reoccurring revenue by fall of this 2026 budget year. And we have new revenues that will be coming online in 2027 from the Linden Logistics Facility and also the Linden Renewable Energy. The mayor and council's worked very hard on this redevelopment, and this is going to be reoccurring revenue that's going to assist us in our budget in 2027. This chart is always important because I would like everybody to understand that the blue portion is what this governing body has control over, the Linden City Council. The municipal portion, which provides for our services, the levy, is $71,831,819.62, or roughly 34.86% of each tax dollar goes towards municipal operations. The purple is illustrated in the library, and as I mentioned, there's a formula, and the state will not allow us to budget below that number, which is the $3,758,765.86, or the 1.82% of your tax dollars goes towards the operations of the library. In red, you can see the school is listed, and the members of the Linden Board of Education are responsible for overseeing the school budget, along with Superintendent Perkins, who's done an exceptional job. The school levy has remained level for many, many years, and that's at $92,215,916, or roughly 44.76% of each of your tax dollars goes towards our school's operations. The County of Union portion is $36,510,576.99, or roughly 17.73%. The Union County Board of Commissioners is responsible for the county levy, and we're lucky enough and fortunate enough to have our very own Union County Commissioner, who's also the chairman this year, Joe Bodek, that always has Linden's best interest at heart. And the last component of the County of Union's levy is their open space at $1,718,677.73, or 0.83% of the County of Union open space. Director Vicki Drake's done a tremendous job, and Linden's always been able to get grants through the open space. I know everybody here wants to know how this is going to affect your pocket. And again, for 2026, we're going to see a municipal tax decrease of $23.05 based on an average assessed home of $134,172. Unfortunately, the library, like I said, is a state mandated number we can't budget below, has an increase of $21.81. So the total tax decrease would be net of $1.24. But I want everyone to please keep in mind the mayor and council were facing monumental challenges this budget year. And 7 out of the last budgets, the 7 of the last 9 years, we have had no municipal tax increase. And that's also keeping in mind that in 2018, Mayor Armstead and his administration eliminated our garbage surcharge, and that was a tax of $120. So we are trying to work very hard and very prudently to reduce taxes whenever and wherever possible. Unfortunately, in 2026, there are certain mandated increases that were beyond our control. These statutory expenses have increased that we have no control over. As I mentioned earlier, the state of New Jersey pension system increased over $861,000. Our health benefits are over $2.2 million in increases. Our liability through the Joint Insurance Commission increased over $712,000. And that minimum library that we have to budget was an increase of $470,000. So those mandated increases were over $4.2 million. We also have 10 bargaining units in the city of Linden that cover our 671 employees, and there's negotiated contracts since till 2028, and that increase was $1,500,000. The mayor and council and the finance committee have worked extremely hard to be fiscally responsible and to work on strategic budgeting to try to avert tax increases. Here in Linden, we do what's called a very conservative zero-based budget, for short it's ZBB, but our department heads know that in July they're going to get their budget manuals, and in those budget manuals we expect them to start at zero and to justify every expense. So when those budgets come back in September, we review them. We hold budget hearings numerous times with every single department and division head, the finance committee, myself, and the mayor, and those budgets came in at $151,066,528.31. We worked on cutting those numbers from September, actually till March, and we cut over $7 million worth of budget requests, which would have been equivalent, if we didn't, of 25 tax points, which would have increased by a $313 tax increase. This year, a tax points equivalent to $279,049. We tried to eliminate vacancies wherever possible. We tried to reduce all non-essential spending and consolidate whatever we could do, and we're still looking to reduce even further for next year. Of course, Mayor Armstead and this administration's #1 priority has always been servicing the residents of Linden and our taxpayers, and we are happy and pleased to be able to say that all our services remain intact. We did not have to do any type of layoffs or furloughs this year. One of our major divisions that provide services to our residents is our DPW, our Division of Public Works. Under Assistant Superintendent Dave Martinez and Facilitator Phil Ransom, they do a tremendous job in reviewing and going out and checking trees, sewer service, our waterways, our garbage collection, our trash collection, our street sweeping, our recycling collection, and our park landscaping. All of these services are provided, but there are costs associated with it. We have our garbage collection tipping fees, that's over $1.2 million annually that we have to pay for the disposal fees. Our trash collection's over $570,000 that we have to pay for the disposal fees. Our street sweeping's $60,000. And our recycling collections is about $240,000, but we were very fortunate this year to work with the Assistant Superintendent of Rawway, Michael Presley. He was tremendous in assisting us in completing tonnage recycling grant that will be used to defray some of those expenses. Another department that we utilize that provides a lot of services to our residents under Director Keith Pressey is our Recreation and Parks Department. Director Pressey had presented his 2025 numbers, and they're impressive. 3,497 participants in over 262 annual youth, adult, and senior programs. They have various seasonal offerings. They have done over 20,000 guests served through public events, and our senior services are second to none as to servicing our seniors. There's over 4,600 yearly seniors that have been transported, and we know that's going to increase this year because he started a new transportation schedule for our seniors. He's also implemented over 9,200 yearly nutritional meals for our seniors. Recreation also, and again, please check the website for Recreation regularly because they always update that almost daily. But we also have youth-sponsored activities from sports to arts and crafts. We take care of our special needs camps and clinics. We also have adult-sponsored activities from fitness classes to special needs, ceramics to mental health. And again, as I mentioned earlier, our senior programs under Megan Martin Ortiz and Sandy Jackson, they work very hard to take care of our seniors, and we've implemented and added additional programs for them, and I believe Director Pressey is going to be even adding more for our senior programs in the coming year. Also, he's responsible for the oversight of looking at our parks and recreation. We have 40 parks that total over 216 acres. Right now, he has 12 parks and facilities that are undergoing upgrades. We have 5 recreation centers. We have 9 summer weekly sports and daily camps that take care of over 350 campers. We have 5 summer playgrounds that take care of over 600 participants and 3 fall playground sites. Recreation also hosts a myriad of events that are free to the public. We started off in Easter time with the Easter Bunny. We just finished our Kids to Park Day and our color run this weekend. But I'd really like you to pay special attention to our September 26th Fall Festival of Celebrating Diversity. We are trying to consolidate all of the various festivals into one main celebration. Again, I believe this is going to be a great success, and it's going to be economic and efficient. And also, there's going to be other activities throughout the year. So please check regularly so you can see all of the events. Sandy Jackson works extremely hard with Director Pressey and the Mayor's office in coordinating these events. Linden also has a free public library under Director Joshua Melizari. Under his leadership, he's been able to add additional programs for our children, our teens, our adults, and our seniors. And it's extremely impressive, and he has his own website that he lists all of their activities on. His staff does a tremendous job, And I wanted to just acknowledge the Friends of Linden Library. It's a volunteer organization that I know Teresa Villani is involved in it, and there's others, that we were able to get the designation of a Dolly Parton Imagination Library, which is quite significant and prestigious for Linden to be designated. This is a program for children ages 0 to 5 that they can enroll and receive free books. So please, if you have children between ages 0 and 5, please check that out. And again, Director Melisari does a tremendous job at the library. Our second part of our budget is our capital budget plan. And I just want everybody to understand the capital budget process, we start at the same time as we start our operating budgets. The department heads get their packets in July. We ask them to look at their capital budget needs, not only for the present year, but for a 6-year period. And we just ask that their projects have a 5-year useful life or a cost of over $25,000. If it meets that criteria and we're able to get it into the capital budget plan, we then, as you see each month, have bond ordinances. And what that bond ordinance does, it allows us to spend and authorizes for the capital improvement or the acquisition of property or the acquisition of the equipment. But that bond ordinance simply authorizes the allowance of the spending and encumbering of the funds. The bond ordinance allows also for what's called bond anticipation notes, which is temporary financing that the City of Linden does annually. We will be recently having, by the end of the month, a bond anticipation note sale for unfunded debt. We can do that up to a 10-year period for temporary financing, and then after that, we do what's called general obligation bonds. But in Linden, we try to maintain our debt service levels. So every 2 to 3 years, depending on market conditions, we then go to permanently finance our unfunded debt. And what we look at is we look at the projects and the useful life of the projects, and if they have a 15-year useful life, we then financially pay that over a 15-year period, so it doesn't burden our budget in 1 year. So we make it fiscally responsible to do our capital budgeting. We also follow the purchasing procurement laws by the state of New Jersey. We have an exceptional purchasing agent under Jessica Slowinski, who had big shoes to fill under the retirement of Anne Marie, but she's also a qualified purchasing agent, and we have to make sure that our departments adhere to the law. And there's only 4 ways that a department can spend money. It's through the current budget, as I mentioned earlier, through a trust account, which is usually a dedicated specific purpose, through a grant fund, or the capital. And the capital, again, has to have an ordinance that has to be approved by 8 votes of the governing body. The authorization to spend money must be in place prior to any encumbrances being made. And you can ask any department head here, we drill that into them. We have weekly, monthly meetings that we stress to them the importance of following the purchasing law. There's ways that, and again, when you look at your council meeting agendas, you see that there's always resolutions on, well, there's a purchasing process that has to be followed. The resolutions that make those agendas have to follow certain criteria, but our department heads know that they have to follow the law. So those resolutions will either be, if it's over 17.5, you'll see a resolution, or if it's under a state contract, you'll see a resolution, or if it's a bid, if it's over $53,000 and our QPA puts it out to bid, you'll see it being awarded through a bid. So there's always a resolution following the authorization. We also try to enter into co-ops if we can save money through a national, state, county, or local co-op. Our purchasing agent is on top of it completely. We also do annually RFPs and RFQs. Those are for all our professional services. So again, we've been fortunate enough to follow everything and do everything and drill everything into our department heads to make sure that we have no audit recommendations and they follow the letter of the law. As a city, again, most municipalities have debt, and as the city, we do have debt. Our net debt as of May 1st of 2026 was $99,669,083.43, or roughly 1.002%. What the state of New Jersey allows you to do is go up to 3.5% of what's called your equalized property valuation, which is, we could go up to, if we wanted to, $348,201,053.86. As you can see, we still have almost $250 million allowable. But as I stressed earlier, this is going into my 39th year with the city, but my 30th year in the finance department, that we always make sure that our debt is level and we make sure that we do things fiscally responsible. We wanted to show that there are towns comparable to us in size. In this, we used the New Jersey website where you got the user-friendly budget data. As of December 31st of 2024, you can see comparable cities our size that have debt comparable to us. And as of 2025, our net debt had been $95,683,123.43 based on our average property valuations of $9.9 billion. So you can see we've increased our property valuations. And our net debt at the end of the year was 0.96%. And again, I just want to make sure you understand that our Moody's rating and our Standard & Poor's for our credit rating is considered a high grade for our municipality. So again, we are responsible when it comes to our debt. If we were irresponsible, and this is just for analysis purposes, if we didn't have a capital budget and say we wanted to add that capital budget to our existing current fund budget, that $10,153,000, if you look at what a tax point's equivalent to of $279,049, that would have been a 35-point tax increase, and that tax increase would have been annually. So again, this is why we have a capital budget. There are certain operating budgets that have to be in the operating budget. There are certain capital projects that have to be in the capital budget, and we address that in a fiscally responsible way. And for 2026, our public safety departments have been allocated $5.3 million of our capital budget plan. And many of you have seen, probably since February, March, and April on our council agendas, the various ordinances. And again, as I mentioned, the ordinance just gives the authority to spend. There's still a purchasing process that has to be followed, but these are the various projects that our public safety departments had requested. Our non-public safety departments, and one of our most critical is our engineering that addresses our infrastructure, headed under supervising engineer Joe Kroback, who I wish we could clone because we need 10 of them because he does the work of 10 people in taking care of our street resurfacing projects, our curb and sidewalk reconstruction, our storm and sanitary sewer improvements. His requests were $2.1 million, but he is a master at receiving what's called grant and aid. So he applies for various grants, and when we get those grants, we offset that. So if he got $1.1 million in grants, we would only need to borrow $1 million. So again, even though you may see it in the capital budget, each ordinance allows for us to take into account grants and aid, and we would not borrow money that we wouldn't need. Another non-public safety department is our Transportation and Properties and Public Works divisions that's headed by Director Nick Pantina. And those projects totaled over $1.1 million. And you might have seen some of these ordinances already through the temporary capital budget on the agenda in February, March, or April. And on tonight's agenda, you'll probably see the resolutions for some of them actually awarding the purchase for some of these items. We also have a Board of Health, and our health officer, Amy Paluzzo, is definitely second to none in the state of New Jersey. She does a tremendous job, gives amazing reports, and is on top of the Board of Health. And this year's capital, she had only requested an SUV for $30,000. Our last major department is our Department of Parks and Recreation. June of 2025, we received a master plan that looked at 37 of our 40 parks. And in that report, it talked about $74 million in improvements. And we want to be fiscally responsible when we address this. So in the 2026 capital budget, Director Pressey had asked for $1,475,000, and of that, he's always applying for grants. So we were fortunate enough to get $75,000 from Union County from the Kids Trust Fund. We also have been very fortunate when he applies for the New Jersey legislative grants with the help of Senate President Nick Scutari to get, since Keith's applied since 2023 to present, over $4.8 million in grants from the state of New Jersey. And with the help of our Commissioner Joe Bodek and the County of Union Kids Trust grants, we've been able to get, over the last 3 years, $260,000. And these grants are dollar for dollar match. So if we receive $75,000, we have to match it with $75,000. But again, we wouldn't borrow it. We would offset the cost with whatever grant amount that we would receive. At this time, I would like to thank you, the taxpayers. You are the ones responsible for paying our salaries and paying your taxes on time. And we're right now at a 98.68% collection rate. And I want to thank our tax collector, Stacey Karen, for the tremendous job that she does annually to try to get us as close to 99 or 100% for taxes. She sends out a multitude of reminders, and she's very diligent at her job. I would also at this time like to thank my staff, my finance staff, who most of them came out tonight to not only support me, but I also want to thank them for all of their hard work throughout the year in putting this budget together. It's time-consuming and tedious. And I'd especially like to thank Dan and Isabella Gonzalez, who were responsible for putting the PowerPoint presentation together. I've been doing this, like I said, for 30 years, and I believe in succession planning, and I believe next year I'd like to be able to say Isabella will be up here doing this presentation and give me a little bit of a break. But I hope I answered most of your questions through this PowerPoint. However, I know Mr. Kazar had some people sign up to ask some questions of me, so I'd be glad to answer them at this time. And everybody, I really would like to thank you for your time and attention during this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Zach. Okay, this is the time to conduct the 2026 budget hearing. Okay, the 2026 municipal budget was placed on the city's website after its introduction last month. Okay, can we have a motion to open a public hearing?
Council President, I motion to open the public hearing for the budget. Ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Orman?
Yes.
Gavick?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado? Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. All right, the public hearing is opened up for comments. All right, we'll start with Virginia Malik. Please come forward. No comments? Thank you. Okay, Mr. Kazar.
John Kaiser, Linden. The budget, congratulations. I'm not going to come up here and rain on a zero tax increase. Great job. Just noticing some of the things on it. The cynic in me, of course, wants to think that, it's because of a re-election year for the mayor. The first 8 years of his reign, I'll call it, the pressure started to build up. There was 0% tax increase. Again, stabilizing taxes is always great for the residents. The first 3 years of his third term, they released some of the pressure. Tax increase last year, a very large increase. I predicted another large one this year, so I was wrong on that. But, I know you guys are cutting so much stuff that you call non-essential that in the past was you deemed essential. I love it right here that we've been saying it on Facebook for so long. The residents have been talking about it, that the festivals in this town were just too much. And I love all of our people. Look at this. Just look at this room tonight. This is a representation of Linden. So many different people from different walks of life. And we've pared it down so there's no more house festival this year. There's no more Latin festival. There's no more Polish festival. I don't know what else. There's a few other ones. We're having one diversity festival, which we've said that we need in this town. That's perfect. And it's on my birthday. That's awesome. I just saw that. The day I celebrate 10 years of sobriety on that day, too. Wow. I'll do a shot with the mayor. No, I'm kidding. And so that's what we need, okay? I know, like I said, I don't want to be a cynic. The concert series, you got my list? Where's Mr. Presley? You got my list? I know you're going to see, I thought you guys were going to have me juggling on the promenade to save money this year. I do know we borrowed money from the LRSA. The surplus, I know we spoke about it. I know you said this was that you're going to replenish it. I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know if next year the dam is going to open again and there's going to be a big tax increase because you guys, the number crunching this year was epic. So I don't know if that means there's going to be a rate increase next year to replenish. I know a few years ago he did that with the Board of Education, took their surplus. So, having your hands in all of the different organizations or authorities throughout the city, you have the ability to do that, I guess. But again, like I said, all the non-essential stuff, like they said, is cut, and it was essential in the past year. So I really hope that this is not smoke and mirrors. I guess if he does win re-election, we'll find out next year. Thank you.
Council President, would I just be able to clarify one thing with Mr. Kezar?
Yes, please.
Mr. Kezar, thank you so much for your comments. I truly appreciate them. I just wanted to clarify in regards to Linden Roselle Sewerage Authority, we do not ever utilize anything dealing with them. There's no surplus utilized by them. They're a joint entity, so we're not able to utilize their surplus because they're a joint type entity, because it's Linden Roselle. So if it was just Linden, we might be able to, but we have never nor ever have utilized that. So I just wanted to clarify that with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Zach, for clarifying that. Mayor?
And if I may, yes, we are consolidating all of our festivals this year. But if we continue on the path that we're on and the state doesn't keep hitting us with these unfunded mandates, I can assure you, and I'll bet you dollars to donuts, that we'll go back to all of our festivals again, the Polish, the Latin, the African American. We have every intention on doing what we have done in the past. We had a little financial troubles this year and we pared back, but I have every intention, should we keep on the path that we're on right now with bringing in revenues, to go back to the way it was. Thank you.
It's not attended as much because there's only so many $18 beefs.
Our festivals are loved and admired by many, okay? So let's just get that straight, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, Pat Hero?
So many questions, so little time. First of all, I'd like to thank Alexis for once again giving a great PowerPoint presentation. But as I said, there are so many questions. One is the problem I have with pilot payment in lieu of taxes. This year, in 2025, the amount of money received was $765,700. In 2026, that figure jumped to $1,886,695. Now you might say, what's the problem with that? I'll tell you what the problem with that is. Only 5% of that goes to the county, apparently. Who pays for the schools? Let me tell you who pays for the schools. You do. You who do not pay pilots are paying for the schools. Imagine 3 people. Now, one person is just playing pilot. 2 of those other people have to split the school taxes that the pilot person isn't paying, in addition, of course, to paying your own school taxes that are covered by municipal taxes. And the problem I also have with that is I can understand a storage facility having a pilot. They don't have kids to need to pay for school taxes. Or a hotel or motel. They don't have kids. Well, normally they don't have kids. I'm sure some homeless people may live there with kids, but normally they don't have kids. But how about apartment buildings? Contrary to popular opinion, apartment buildings have children. I'm not against apartment buildings having children. I like apartment buildings having children. But that costs money for schools, which the pilot programs that are involved with the apartment buildings aren't paying for. Okay, that's it. Now I have to ask if the Board of Ed SLEO revenue was anticipated to be $258,400 in 2025, yet only $50,285 was realized in cash that year. Why are we anticipating $258,400 for this year? That's in sheet 7, by the way. And also the Sewerage Authority anticipated $15,000 in 2025, yet only realized in cash $7,500. This year we are anticipating $20,000. Could you explain that for me, please?
Sheet 7 is our interlocal service agreements. So based on the agreement, we would then bill the entity. So there had been, I believe, with the Board of Education, some of the SLEOs had resigned or retired. We didn't replace them right away. So that's why we had the $50,285. We anticipate having them replaced. That's why we're budgeting the full amount for the full year, so that we're not under budgeted. Again, the revenue that we bring in offsets those expenses. And the Sewerage Authority is our joint venture that we have with our qualified purchasing agent. And again, last year, we had received the $7,500, but we increased that amount for this year, that she's going to be getting more. It was a partial year, so again, she's going to be doing that for the full year. That's why we have the full year budgeted for this year.
Okay, thank you.
And Ms. Hero, if I could just comment in regards, and again, you're entitled to your opinion in regards to pilots, and I respect you immensely. I just wanted you to understand that this year in our budget for our pilots, we're receiving $11,160,167. So that number that you originally read, I'm not sure what document you got that off of, but if you add up all of our pilots, it's $11,160,167. And I'll be glad to show you, my list when, after the meeting if you want me to.
I understand. I am still
Thank you.
kind of opposed to pilots on a general principle and for the school tax reason. Why are we asking for reimbursement of benefits from library and non-benefit reimbursement of costs? Last year, this part totaled $717,821.11, sheet 10.
The library had been under our benefits. They had gone separate, so that's why that had gone down. And we provide certain services and rent for the facility that we bill them, and that's the amount, the services that we provided that they paid us for.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hero. Carlos Rivas?
Good evening. Ms. Alexis Sack, you should be the one in the picture, because you're making it happen for 30 years. None of the politicians do. I met you for almost 3.5 years ago, and I see how hard you work in the budget. But there are things that you can, and there are things that you can't do. There are things that you can explain, and there are things that, per se, cannot be said, because what you show us is the tip of the tip of what everything is out there that these people may not see. But I'm very happy to see one thing. You spent 3 slides of your presentation to say how much in debt we are. Because nobody before has ever even questioned me that during all these months I've been saying that we're almost $100 million in debt. And you just proved it, that we are $99 million in debt. But at the same time, you show us that we have some sort of amounts of almost $250 million is still out there, or something similar, that we can still borrow if we need to. And you compare a city, the debt, with the city debt of all the other cities close to us. What I did not see is where is the reduction of those $7.5 million in order to balance our budget came from. What were really the facts that make that reduction happen? What I read in the report is also that we're talking about tax points. You said that we reduced 25 tax points with the reduction of the budget. One of my questions will be, how many tax points does the city of Linden will have? And you could certainly ask me to multiply $279,000 every tax point for the amount of millions that there is. And then we're going to find out that 25 tax points are really nothing. What I also trying to understand is that you say that if we were irresponsible, financially responsible, we would have projected almost $10 million for capital budget plans that will increase our taxes to about $434 as a tax increase. The question is our capital budget plan funded throughout the year? So we're just going over year to see how much money can we use out of other resources that we may have, or out of the surplus, which, by the way, was $11 million. I said last year, this is a surplus of money that all of the citizens need to know that there was not ever needed to be budgeted on the budget. That's something that we can say that it was over budgeted before, but we need to have that over budget because we do not know what circumstances may happen throughout the year. Similar to the amount that the pilots gave us, $11 million. So you come to wonder, if we were to finance our budget, capital budget plan, we will really be in the green like it was shown out there, that we're only going to have a $1 and something per month increase? The question is, we need to be transparent with the citizens.
Okay. I don't have anyone else signed up for, to speak on the budget. So at this time, can we have a motion to close the public hearing, please?
I motion to close the public hearing and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Orman?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado? Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. All right, all right, at this time, I'd like to ask our Director Sid to please come forward, Felipe Capeza, to do a presentation on the Sid budget. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, City Councils, city officials, members of the public. Again, my name is Felipe Cabeza, I'm the city director. And my budget for July 1st, 2026 to June 30, 2027 is as follows. $182,102.50. It is spent as salary and wages, $94,000. Purchases of services, insurance, professional services, it's a total of $13,000. Marketing and supplies, office supplies, advertising, marketing, audit is a total of $14,900. Leases for 403 Northwood Avenue. The yearly lease is $21,300. Copy machine lease is $1,500 and utilities $10,000. Gives a total of $32,800. Special projects, festivals, we allocated $20,000 for this next 12 months. Street lighting services, $8,000. Miscellaneous decoration on Wood Avenue is a total of $8,000. And merchandise signature system is $2,402. Gives a total of $27,400. So equals $182,102.50. That's my budget. Hope you guys will pass it. We have some money to carry on for next year. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Capeza. All right. Did everyone that wants to speak on the SID budget sign the pink sheets? Is there anyone that missed that? Thank you. Okay, we're going to open the floor now for comments on the SID budget. Angela, or Angelo Lucoso? No? Okay. Okay, Carlos Rivas.
I think I've been knowing Felipe for so many years, and I know that you mean well in everything that you do for the city. I believe, like everybody else, you got some cuts that you had to do. Your budget last year was $250,000. This year only goes to $182,000. I'm guessing that the $70,000 cuts had to do with all the festivals that we have to cut throughout the year. Can you let us know where the $70,000 were?
We had a couple of property owners that had challenged their taxes, so they got some money back.
Mr. Cabeza, could you please come to the microphone so?
The question was again, where was the reduction? Where were the reduction of the $70,000 of your budget?
You talk about the festivals.
No, I'm talking about the $70,000. That's what is it that you cut to get to $70,000 less than the budget from last year?
Well, I can't help that. The money comes in from the property owners. It's not the money that the city gave us.
So last year your budget was $250,000. This year's $180,000.
No, last year was $192,000.
So the records that maybe they have seen.
Yeah, probably, because our budget keeps decreasing every year. Last year, we got a reduction. This year, we got a $650 reduction because of a tax appeal from one of the property owners.
So the city records showing $250,000, $240,000, $800 for the city of Linden District Corporation, which is not correct.
Not correct.
Okay. In these cuts, last year you have all these festivals. You have reduced the amount of festivals, and you're saying you're reducing only $10,000 from your budget last year?
Well, the reason on the reduction of the expenses is because we having one festival this year, so therefore you don't need that much money to do a festival. Some of the money that comes in is going to be allocated from the Parks and Recreation. The city contributes some of the money, and we bring in the rest of the money.
Okay. So the $10,000 decrease is not necessarily the money that we spend in all these festivals that we cut. It had to do with the money that didn't come in because of the taxes. So let me ask you a very important question. Has anything in your budget had increased from last year? Anything, like anything, purchases and services, salaries and wages, or anything has increased from last year?
Fortunately, no, everything stays the same. Salary remains the same for the last 3 years. The purchase and services, the lease increased by 0.4%. So it's like maybe $60 a month. So it's not that much of an increase. And everything else, we got the copy machine lease and supplies.
So,
Nothing major there.
correct. And this is not against you, Felipe. Like I said, I know you for years. The special projects, you put $27,000.
No, that's a combination.
That's a combination, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, that means that
Mr. Rivas, your
everything
time
that
is
you
up.
plan to do is going to be done with this money?
Say that again?
Everything that you plan to do for the city is going to be fulfilled with this money?
Well, unfortunately, yes. We need more money, but that's all we could do with that.
Thank you very much for your answer. Good luck.
Okay. John Kaiser?
John Kaiser, Linden. 1 second, please. I'm not gonna bust this guy's balls too hard, I guess. I don't know. You might know better than me. I didn't see. I have last year's up here and this year's up here. I didn't see 250. Was that what was adopted? Because last year I see 184. This year I see 182. So for anyone that doesn't know, the SID district, it's a 12-block area from St. George Ave to Munsell Ave, and just the name of it, Special Improvement District. Improve means to get better. I don't know. I don't know if Wood Air's looking a little dirty. The street, the awning over on the cleaners, let's either get rid of it or replace it, right? It's disgusting. You guys see that right on the right in the middle of town. It's been there forever. So this year it says festivals. So festivals is under the SID? Yes? Some, okay. Because last year there was nothing allotted for festivals. It was Wood Air redesign last year and signage. So signage was on the list last year, and we still got, I don't know if signage, awning falls under the signage. This year we have it for festivals, street lighting, miscellaneous. I just feel like the SID district is just hodgepodge thrown together. Nobody really knows what direction it's going. And so we're cutting 2,000 from it, from last year to this year. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know how well it's going. I mean, Mike Bono was talking about awnings, and they're pretty nasty out there. So, that's it.
Just to answer some of his questions, he said about the city improvement. I don't know if 120 million building is an improvement or not, but it's 120 million that was spent on the city district, and the building developer just didn't show up overnight and says, "Listen, I'm going to put $120,000." $120 million building on this particular area. It takes time, it takes preparation, okay, so that is an improvement.
All right, Ed Kaminsky?
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, so I guess to make it simple, my comments probably outline and mirror Mr. Kaiser's, and no offense to you, you seem like a nice man, and quite frankly, Mr. Kaiser said, hey, I don't know what the function of SID is. It is between a rock and a hard place, because you're between government agencies and, you know, just quite frankly, our businesses getting taxed to death, additional taxes that taxes down on the Route 1 corridor aren't having to pay. So it's a little unfair. I empathize for you. But my suggestion is not only the awning thing. I mean, downtown looks horrible. I've talked about the filth for years now. It's gotten worse, not better. The focus needs to be on cleanliness, openness. I mean, we just had a business owner beaten, security, right? And everything from carjackings to people being beaten up in their own businesses to fires being started on some of these businesses. Well, that's actually technically a block down from the SID district, but still, the focus needs to be simple. I'm not in agreement with the SID district. I think, you know, all in all, it's small budget compared to the broader city budget, and it could be folded into there. The duties should be the important duties. But like the cleanliness, the business owners, when I speak to them, say, hey, is it doing anything for you? Usually I get like, you know, the shoulders going up or just a laugh and shaking of the head. So they want to be safe, they want parking for their customers, and they want it clean. So maybe just, you know, invest in a vehicle. I mean, trash doesn't go away during the weekend. We have no trash pickup, and you see garbage all strewn up and down that blows down through all the neighborhoods. The festivals, that's a good thing it's going away. I've talked ad nauseum about that. We could do more there, too. Quite frankly, for those of us that live in the area, it's good not to come home and have your driveways blocked, or some neighbors had their cars vandalized during some of these festivals. So, you know, shorter, sweeter, and something that needs to benefit our businesses. When we have these festivals, very little benefits these businesses. As a matter of fact, some of the businesses close. So let's just remember what it's there for. Maybe, hopefully, at some time, get rid of it, or make it better, make it functional. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Pat Hero?
For Pat gets up here, I like to invite the public members to come into my office, sit there for like an hour or so, any time of the week, between Mondays and Friday, and you could ask me all kinds of questions, or you could see exactly what the SID does for the SID district, okay? Because you're not gonna just sit here and say, well, what the SID does, what do they do, how they spend their time, how they spend their money. So please come over, see how I operate, and you'll be surprised the things that we do with the little money that we get.
Okay, Pat, go ahead, please.
Okay, I just learned today that it's not going to be festivals. It's going to be festival. One festival. So is the $12,000 all going to that one festival? And do we get any revenue from these festival that we're going to have or that we've had in the past?
Yes, we do. We don't know what the budget's going to be yet because we don't know exactly how these festivals going to happen. But we try to put together 3 in 1. The time frames are still going to be the same. It's going to be anywhere between 12 o'clock in the afternoon until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And it depends on how we're going to plan it, because you have to pay everybody that comes in. You got the employees, you got police department, fire department, health department. Everybody has to get paid. So it depends on exactly what kind of vendors we bring in, that's what the budget's going to be. So yes, most of these $12,000 is going to be invested on those festivals, on that one particular festival. So hopefully we'll make a splash that maybe next year we'll increase it from 1 day to 2 days.
And my last question is going to be the street lighting service store. Can you explain that to me, please? Thank you.
Okay, in the previous year before I started, we had the previous director. He used to lease the lights and the service for the street lighting, for the Christmas. So when I came in, I decided to purchase our own lights and hire our own guy to come in and install the lights. Okay, so therefore we had a savings of almost $9,000 a year. So you're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Hero. Armando Augusti?
All right, good evening, Mayor, council members, and members of the administration. My name is Armando Augusti. I'm the owner of property located at 4 St. Mark's in Linden. I've been a resident of Linden for 28 years and have always tried to support our city and work cooperatively with local governments. I'm not here tonight looking for conflicts. I think I've had the conversation with you many times. I'm here.
This is not for public, this is about the SID budget, right?
That's why I asked you. That's
Yeah.
why I asked you.
So if you could do for later?
Okay.
Under
I
public
didn't know.
comment?
That's why you said
Okay,
public
good.
comment.
Okay. Yes, there's a white one in the front? Yep, that's it. Okay. Okay. Can we have a motion to close the public hearing and adopt the 2026 SID budget?
Madam President, a motion to close public hearing and table approval of the Special Improvement District budget and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado? Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, we're now going to move on to the ordinances on hearing. Okay, we're going to begin with ordinance 7028, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 31 zoning of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 31 zoning shall be and the same is hereby amended as follows. Chapter 31 zoning, delete Section 31-40 penalties for violations in its entirety. Add new Section 31-40.1 penalties for violations.
All right, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
Yes, ma'am. I believe there's an amendment to the ordinance that should be heard first.
Council President?
Amendment to the ordinance.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Council-
Councilman Javik?
Yes, Council President, I move to amend ordinance 70-28 with the following language. Any person who violates, disobeys, omits, neglects, or refuses to comply with, or who resists the enforcement of the provisions of this chapter or any order, decision, or determination by the Board of Adjustment or the Planning Board shall be deemed guilty, and upon conviction thereof shall for each and every violation and for each and every day such violation continues, be liable for the penalty stated in Chapter 1, Section 1-5, but in no case shall the fine be less than $500.
Okay, can we have a motion to approve the amendment, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number.
Move the amendment, sir.
Move the amendment. The amendment.
Oh, the amendment?
What you just,
Well, I have reviewed the above amendment to ordinance number 7028 and find it to be de minimis.
Council President, if I may. So right now, the councilman read an amendment to the ordinance before the body, so there should be a motion made to approve the amendment, a second, a roll call, then a additional motion, second, to approve the ordinance as amended. But prior to the roll call on the amendment, I have to just at least put on the record why I have determined that this is a de minimis change to the ordinance, which then would allow you to proceed to adopt this evening.
okay.
Okay, Council President, I move to approve the ordinance number 70-28.
On the amendment.
What's it?
You move the amendment.
The amendment.
Oh, the amendment dash 7028 and request a second?
Second.
This is on the amendment.
This is on the amendment we're voting.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. City Clerk, hold on. Before the roll call, I just need to put my reasons on the record why the change is de minimis. So the ordinance that was adopted initially called for a minimum fine of $500 and a maximum fine of $5,000. After speaking with our construction code official, I initially thought that perhaps this was a fine based upon the Uniform Commercial Code. It is not. It's actually based upon a violation of an ordinance. So in that particular instance, the amendment lowers that maximum fine that was initially proposed from $5,000 to $2,000. To the extent that it does not, in other words, if we went the other way from $5,000 to $10,000, in my opinion, we would have to postpone, republish, and then proceed to adopt the ordinance. But in this particular instance, any member of the public who received notice or went online and saw our notice or saw a copy of the ordinance, if they objected to the $5,000 maximum fine, presumably they're here this evening. So arguably, that person then would be here on the $5,000 fine and objection, but since we're lowering it to $2,000, in my opinion, this change is de minimis, doesn't substantially change the ordinance, and I recommend that this council proceed to a second reading of this ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Antonelli.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Okay.
We have written
Written
statement.
communication?
Yes. My name is Chaya Green. I am a resident of Linden, living at 126 Palisade Road. Mayors and members of the council, under New Jersey's new public notice law, Public Law 2025, Chapter 72, effective March 1, 2026, every municipality is required to post ordinances on a dedicated public notice section of its website at least 1 week before final passage. Linden has the page. The city has posted formal compliance notices on it twice, on April 28th and May 14th, declaring itself in compliance with the new law. None of the four ordinances brought before this council at second reading, ordinances 70, 28, 29, 30, and 31, was ever posted there. This is a statutory defect. The council cannot lawfully adopt ordinances 70-28, 29, or 31 tonight without satisfying the publication requirements the state has imposed. The same defect attaches to ordinance 70-30 and must be cured before that ordinance returns from the planning board for final passage. I am asking each of you to vote no or to vote to table these ordinances until the city has actually complied with the law it has already publicly claimed to be following.
Okay. Is there any other reason?
Yes. Hang on. Dear Mr. Bodick and honorable members of the council, this is from Carlos Rivas. Please accept this correspondence for inclusion in the official public record regarding the proposed amendments to ordinances 70-28, -30, and -31. I also respectfully request that this letter be read into the record and considered during council discussion prior to any final vote of these ordinances. After reviewing the proposed language and the penalties being contemplated, I have serious concerns regarding whether portions of the proposed amendments comply with the limitations established under New Jersey law. NJSA 40:49-5 establishes the penalties municipalities may impose for ordinance violations and states that except for limited statutory exceptions involving certain solid waste related matters, municipal penalties shall not exceed $2,000. The statute provides the governing body may prescribe penalties for the violation of ordinances, but no penalty shall exceed a fine of $2,000. Based upon the language currently proposed, the ordinance under consideration does not appear to fall within the statutory exceptions permitting penalties above that amount. However, the proposed amendments reportedly authorizes fines reaching as high as $5,000. As a resident and member of the public exercising my right to comment on matters affecting the community, I believe these concerns deserve careful legal review before adoption of any ordinance that may be later challenged as exceeding the authority granted to municipalities under state law. I respectfully ask the council to publicly clarify the statutory basis being relied upon to justify penalties exceeding the limitations established under NJSA 40:49-5 and to ensure that any ordinance ultimately adopted are fully consistent with state law and enforceable. The residents of Linden deserve ordinances that are lawful, transparent, reasonable, and enacted within the authority delegated by the state of New Jersey. Thank you for your attention to this matter and for ensuring this communication becomes part of the official record. Another letter from Mr. Rivas. Dear Mr. Bodick, I understand that the City Council is scheduled to conduct the second reading of ordinances 70-28, 70-30, and 70-31 at the upcoming council meeting. As these ordinances amend Chapter 31 zoning, I respectfully request clarification upon compliance with the procedural requirements established under NJSA 40:55D-26. Under NJSA 40:55D-26, proposed zoning amendments must be referred to the planning board to review, and the planning board must transmit its report and recommendations to the governing body following consideration at a properly noticed public meeting conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act. At this time, I have been unable to identify any planning board meeting held between April 21st, 2026 and the present date at these ordinances appeared on the agenda for public review and consideration. Accordingly, before the council proceeds with a vote on a second reading, I respectfully request the following information. 1, the date of the planning board public meeting at which each ordinance was reviewed, a copy of the agenda and meeting minutes for such meeting, and 3, a copy of the planning board report and recommendations transmitted to the city council. If no such meeting was held and no such report was transmitted, I respectfully request written confirmation of that fact. Given that the procedural requirements established by state law, I would further respectfully request that the second reading and adoption of these ordinances be postponed until the planning board has completed its review at a public meeting and transmitted its report to the council in compliance with NJSA 40:55D-26. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I look forward to your response. And one additional one from Mr. Rivas. Please accept this communication for inclusion in the official record related to ordinance 70-28, currently pending second reading before the City Council. Based on my review of the procedural requirements applicable to zoning ordinance amendments under NJSA 40:55D-26, I continue to have concern regarding whether all procedural requirements associated with this ordinance have been satisfied prior to final adoption. The municipal land use law establishes that zoning ordinance amendments are to be referred to the planning board for review, with the planning board transmittal its recommendations to the governing body before adoption. At this time, I have not identified any publicly noticed planning board meeting between April 21st, 2026 and the present date where ordinance 70-28 was formally reviewed or discussed. Additionally, based on statements made during the council meeting yesterday, it is indicated that the corrections or revisions to this ordinance would be made prior to tonight's vote. I fully understand that minor or non-substantive corrections such as grammar, formatting, or clarifications that do not materially alter the meaning of the ordinance generally would not require reintroduction or replication. However, substantial amendments, particularly those affecting penalties, enforcement provisions, zoning standards, or property rights, may require additional procedural steps, including new public notice and replication, additional public hearing opportunities, renewed planning board review and recommendations, and/or postponement or final adoption to ensure compliance with applicable law. In addition, I respectfully place on the record my concern that ordinance 70-28 as currently presented conflicts with the penalty limitations established under NJSA 40:49-5. Based on my understanding of the statute, municipalities remain subject to statutory limits regarding penalties imposed through ordinance enforcement except where specifically authorized by state law. My intention in raising these concerns is not to interfere with the legislative process, but rather to respectfully ensure that the ordinance and any amendments made remain fully consistent with the procedural safeguards and legal requirements established under New Jersey law. Accordingly, I respectfully request that this communication be included as part of the official ordinance correspondence and be made available to the mayor and members of the City Council prior to and during discussion of ordinance 70-28 before any second reading vote is taken, including my formally request to have it postponed until it fulfills the concerns raised regarding the municipal land use law. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Respectfully, Carlos A. Reeves.
Any others?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak on this ordinance?
Why not? First and foremost, I'd like to thank City Council for reading the concerns presented about the ordinance. As I mentioned before, the ordinance, as it was originally presented, was under total violation of the New Jersey statute that recalls or that it mandates municipalities that if they're going to fine citizens regarding these particular concerns, the fine should not go more than $2,000, and the ordinance was requesting $5,000. With the amendment made, which I'm very happy to hear the amendment on the ordinance, what it brings me to my concern is that this amendment was done in less than 24 hours before the second reading, and it really requires not only what I stated in my letter, the review or the meeting of the planning board, but it also requires for the citizens of Linden to understand how did this ordinance may affect you in the future, how did this ordinance will affect your lives, because we are not here trying not to be correct or do the correct thing that the city asks us to do. We're here to try to identify who's going to do the criteria to fine you between X amount of money to the total amount of $2,000 based on what? The criteria are not being established, so therefore it's subject to interpretation on how much will they charge you per day, if by any chance the city will not allow you to correct the issue. What is also interesting is that the current ordinance says that the fines will go from $100 to $1,000, that the proposal for change had an increase of 400%. Well, I'm happy that they reduced it, but at the same time, I'm still going to request that this should go to the planning board and it should be posted online so the citizens can have the right to see how this ordinance can affect their lives. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Okay, please come forward. Please just state your name for the record.
Sure. Patricia Hero. Yeah, this is actually kind of, I think Kafkaesque. I mean, can you really understand what's going on here? I certainly can. First of all, if it wasn't properly posted on the website, then there's no way of knowing. And Mr. Rivas is right. How do you know whether you're guilty of it? I mean, what do you even know you're guilty of? I mean, it says penalties for violations, and when Councilman Javik referred to this, I mean, it kind of was very scary. It's like, you know, what is this law? What does it mean? What's the $500 minimum? What's the $2,000 maximum? Penalties for violations, but violations of what? Again, maybe we could hold this over until next month and get a better understanding of this, as well as 29, 30, 31, maybe 32. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 7028 and request a second.
Second.
Madam President, close the public hearing and adopt the amended ordinance.
Okay.
That's what the motion should be,
Can we have a motion to close the public hearing and adopt the ordinance
as amended.
as amended?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing and adopt the public ordinance as amended. I request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 7029, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 31 zoning of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 31 zoning shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. Chapter 31 zoning, delete Section 31-49, short-term rentals in its entirety. Add new Section 3149, regulating the short-term rentals or letting of any residential premise or parts thereof, except certain licensed hotels or motels.
Okay. Councilman Javik?
Yes, Council President, I move to refer ordinance 70-29 to the Planning Board for review and move to table the matter until the June 16, 2026 meeting, and I request a second.
Second.
I need the roll call. 1 second, Madam President. Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 7030, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 31 zoning of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 31 zoning shall be and the same is hereby amended as follows. Chapter 31 zoning, delete Section 31-20.19, off-street parking in its entirety. Add new Section 31-20.19, off-street parking as follows.
Okay, Councilman Javits?
Yes, Council President, I move to refer ordinance 70-30 to the Planning Board for review and move to table the matter until the June 16, 2026 meeting, and I request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 7031, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 31 zoning of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 31 zoning shall be and the same is hereby amended as follows. Chapter 31 zoning, delete Section 31-5.1, fees for zoning permits in its entirety. Add new Section 31-5.1, fees for zoning permits as follows.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
Yes, ma'am. From Carlos Rivas, Dear Mr. Bodick, accept this communication for inclusion in the official record of Ordinance 70-31, currently pending second reading before the City Council. Based on my review of the procedural requirements applicable to zoning ordinance amendments under NJSA 40:55D-26, I have concerns regarding whether all procedural requirements associated with this ordinance have been satisfied prior to final adoption. The municipal land use law establishes that zoning ordinances amendments are to be referred to the planning board for review, with the planning board transmitting its recommendations to the governing body before adoption. At this time, I have not identified any publicly noticed planning board meeting between April 21st, 2026 and the present date where ordinance 70-31 was formally reviewed or discussed. Additionally, based on statements made during the council meeting yesterday, it was indicated that corrections or revisions to the ordinance may be made prior to tonight's vote. I fully understand that minor or non-substantive corrections such as grammar, formatting, or clarification that do not materially alter the meaning of the ordinance generally would not require reintroduction or replication. However, substantive amendments, particularly those affecting zoning fees, enforceable provisions, or property rights, may require additional procedure steps, including new public notice and replication, additional public hearing opportunities, renewed planning board review and recommendation, and/or postponement of final adoption to ensure compliance with applicable law. My intent in raising these concerns is not to interfere with the legislative process, but rather to respectfully ensure that the ordinance and any amendments made remain fully consistent with the procedural safeguards and legal requirements established under New Jersey law. Accordingly, I respectfully request that this communication be included as part of the official ordinance correspondence and be made available to the mayor and members of the council prior to and during discussion of ordinance 70-31 before any second reading vote is taken. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Respectfully, Carlos A. Rivas.
Okay, any others?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance?
Good evening again, and here comes again to present to the citizens of Linden the right that they have in order to ask and hold your administration accountable of everything that they do or they approve that will affect your lives. It is amazing how some ordinances are agreed to go back to the planning board and some ordinances not. I guess what my opinion will be, the ego of making sure that the way that the ordinances are presented and the way that they have to be approved by the administration could make them do mistakes that are probably going to be challenged later on in court. I really urge this council, you are the ones who are making the decisions. Don't take any information that may not be accurate. Do your homework. Get the information that you deserve. Don't just take 3 minutes of an explanation of an ordinance given to you in a caucus meeting in order to comprehend how the decisions that you make in this council will affect their lives. These ordinances are affecting the lives of the citizens of Linden. Raising the fees, raising anything to create the citizens of Linden a cash cow for the city is not what the government is supposed to do. The government is supposed to work with the citizens in order to get their better quality of our life, but not affecting their pocket. If the city is not financially responsible with the money that we provide them, we are not the ones who have to pay for the debt. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I move to close the public hearing.
Excuse me? Mr. Antonelli?
To address the issues raised.
We
About
lost
not going to the
connection
planning
with
board.
Councilman.
About not going to the planning board.
Thank you. Mr. Antonelli?
Yeah, thank you, Council President. It's amazing, I guess, in 2026 now that my adversary is ChatGPT, which is certainly not reliable and certainly something that I would not rely upon in giving this council advice as to the issue of whether or not this ordinance concerning fees and the first ordinance concerning fees. But frankly, there is a statute that does require when you make changes to the zoning code, and I'll call them the regulations, your bulk requirements, your side yard setback, your front yard setback, height, area coverage, anything along those lines, absolutely, has to go to the planning board. Planning board then has 35 days to actually hold a public hearing and make a recommendation back to the council. If they do that, they can make a recommendation in favor of the ordinance. They could also perhaps reject part of the ordinance or all of it and say that they're not in favor, it's not consistent with the master plan re-examination report. When it comes back to council, then for a second reading, that time it gets voted upon. If the recommendation is not to approve the ordinance or an objection, then all this council has to do is state, usually we would ask one council member or two to just put a reason or two on the record why they disagree with the planning board, and then you would proceed to vote on it. So that is the process for a zoning change that affects what I'll call a regulation, not a fee. And I frankly welcome a challenge if that's the case, because I was unable to find one case that said that when a municipality is changing fees in its zoning code, that it has to go to the planning board. So on that basis, I see no reason why the council, like the first ordinance, should not proceed to vote on this ordinance evening and not refer it to the planning board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Antonelli.
Okay.
All right. Can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 70-31. Move for approval and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond. Mrs. Ormond? Mr.
Yes.
Ms. Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed,
Yes.
Lot,
Yes.
Delgado,
Yes.
Strano, Armstead,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hudak,
Yes.
Mrs. Yemekaitis.
Yes. Ordinance 7032, please.
An ordinance authorizing the amendment to Chapter 5 of the City of Linden's Ordinance Dogs. Whereas the City of Linden, the city, adopted and enacted an ordinance creating a section known as Dogs, which addresses the requirements of dog ownership and the health and the safety of the citizens related thereto. And whereas the city is dedicated to ensuring the safety of the citizens by requiring better oversight of dogs before they become a threat or danger to the citizens. And whereas after thoughtful consideration and review of the existing ordinance and relevant statutes, the following amendments are to be set forth for adoption, and now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Linden as follows. Section 1, Chapter 5-1.9, entitled Dogs Running at Large Prohibited, Leash Required, shall be amended. New Section 5-1.9, Dogs Running at Large Prohibited, Leash Requirements, Secured Premises.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Please come forward. Yes, please come forward. Please just state your name for the record again.
Angelo Corso, good evening, council people. I've been a resident of Linden for over 10 years. I think it's a beautiful place to live in. It's safe until Super Bowl Sunday for me. I was attacked while I was walking back to my house with my dog. My dog was killed. I am looking for the council people of each ward to move this ordinance forward. I think it's important. The good thing of it is not a cost to the budget. There's no increase to the budget on this ordinance. Most likely, it's a revenue generator because it will make Linden a safer place for the rest of us to live in. I strongly recommend you think about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Pat Hero?
Patricia Hero. I agree with the previous gentleman. I think dogs running at large is very scary, and I appreciate that leash is required, and that they're also secured premises, I guess, if they're not like in a public place like on Wood Avenue or in a park or whatever. But my question is, are there any fees for, failure of complying with this ordinance? And what's going to be the enforcement policy?
Mr. Antonelli?
Thank you, Council President. So this ordinance, like any other ordinance or many other ordinances here in the city of Linden, there is a violation and a penalty, which is what we call our general penalty. So basically, a summons would have to issue if, for example, someone had a dog not on a leash. They would then be given an opportunity to plead not guilty, go before the municipal court, speak to the prosecutor, and either work out a plea bargain and agree to a fine and plead guilty, or have a trial, right? Obviously, that could happen as well. So that process, like many other ordinances here in the city where you could be issued a summons for violating it, you would then go to municipal court to resolve that summons. But the key part here, Ms. Hero, is actually having an officer or one of our enforcement folks be there when the dog's unleashed, and that's really the issue, right? It's an enforcement issue. So we hope that this raises some awareness and that people will take it more seriously, that if they do walk with a dog on a leash and do get summons and fined, that won't happen again, because everybody should be able to walk around without any fear of a dog attacking them.
Thank you, Mr. Antonelli.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance?
If the people of Linden will know, many of us, they will understand that we don't come to this podium to either fight our government or try not to necessarily agree with what they do. We come to this podium because we believe that they are important circumstances that bring us to share our opinion, our comments. And we sincerely also come here to congratulate when something is well done. We're not only coming here to criticize. This is a great ordinance. I have to say that I have come to this podium maybe in any one of the ordinances that we have discussed before, and I have my comments, I have my criticism. But I have to agree also that when you come to this podium, it's not only to criticize, but also to recognize the good job that you may do. I have to welcome this ordinance, and I believe that Councilman Delgado has a lot to do with this ordinance. I thank you for working hard on this. But unfortunately, I do have to say that when we come here to this podium, we're not here just to receive all these lectures that our city attorney had just provided us, because the reality is we are entitled to comment. We're entitled to come here and say what we believe is right or not. And while you may think that our understandings of the procedures are not correct, I'm going to tell you that it's in our rights to say what we feel, and it's all right to tell the people of Linden what we feel. Regardless, in my personal experience, you as the attorney has come to that microphone saying that since the 12 years that you were here, this city was collecting non-residential fees. But regarding that particular statement, you were proven that that's not the case.
Council President, he's off topic.
Yes.
Comments should be limited to the ordinance, sir.
I only
Thank you.
wanted to let you know that we're not here to fight you. Not you're here to get you lectures, because we got the right to say what we need to say in regards to any ordinance.
Okay, is there anyone else in the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 70-32. Move for approval and request a second.
I proudly second, and I thank our mayor and our council president and colleagues who came together around this. Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Watt?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamagaitis?
Yes, and we are truly sorry for your loss. Okay, ordinance 7033, please.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $1,320,000 for multi-park playground improvements for the Division of Parks and Recreation for and by the City of Linden and the County of Union, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $1,254,000 bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance?
John Kaiser, Linden. So I'm always going to be in support of playground and parks. I've been in every park in the city. So this is multi-park playground improvements. So first, which parks are they going to be? And the only thing that's a little frustrating is that we've been talking about improvements to parks now for years, and I haven't seen any. I know that Dobson Park has been talked about. Mr. Pressley gave his presentation. 8th Ward, you know, I brought this up to you last time about this, and you said, oh, we're getting to all this money has been appropriated. Okay, I saw the mock-ups. It looks beautiful. I want to see these improvements. It just seems like we keep appropriating money and nothing is happening to improve the parks. And that have been planned. Like we give presentations 2023 and 2024. I don't think it should take that long to start that. So for this though, which parks is this for?
Mr. Presley? And Mr. Kazar, if you come to the 8th Ward, you'd be shocked what you'd see. It's beautiful what's going up there.
Oh, I know. Which one did you start?
Bukowski.
You started Bukowski Park. Is that the special needs one?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay.
Yes, good evening. Keith Pressey, Director of Parks and Recreation. These funds are for the improvements at Wilson Playground, Wilson Park, Trimley Point, and Alcala.
Okay, is there anyone else who wishes to be heard on this ordinance?
Carlos Rivas Linden. I'm here again to say thank you for working on the parks. Similar to the neighbor that came here to this podium to ask where did all this money that we are lending money out of it, and we also possibly using the money that we have out of the 234 million that we still have a chance to get credit for. When we're talking about more debt, and when you present many of the plans for the city, for the parks in the city, I don't want to go out of subject because I get people upset, but when is the time for the Fifth Ward parks to be taken care of?
Currently, what's taking place right now is we are finishing up all the parks that had some allocations of funds or has previously been worked on. So what we want to do is try to button up those parks. For instance, Memorial Park, we did quite a bit of work with the baseball field. But if you're in Memorial Park, the other side of it is Trimley Point, and you see nothing has been done with that. So we're trying to be more complete with finishing up those jobs. After we are finished with those jobs, then we'll start putting other parks in rotation. I don't have a date for Fifth Ward, but that is on the map to be improved.
Council President, if I may, I just want to add that the Fifth Ward Councilperson Lott has approached the governing body and the Recreation Committee for repairs in the Fifth Ward Park, and I want to thank her for taking an interest in her park there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone. Yes, we are about 3 years out, I believe, for the Fifth Ward Parks, but we're already talking to Mr. Prezi about pushing that up in the schedule. So thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Yes.
Ed Kaminsky, Maple Avenue. Just with the last, I'm sorry for your loss, just with the last ordinance and this one, it's constantly reinforced and shocking how little planning is done, or how little prescience, how little thoughtfulness there is to put to stuff. Like, I would have thought an ordinance like that with the dog would have been done years ago. I'm up here talking about this particular ordinance with the parks. And several months ago, there was a comment made here that, oh, we're considering kind of having a rotation budgeting to improve the parks. Like, you mean that hasn't been a part of the process ever? So again, it's about planning. It shows how sloppy we are, just throwing stuff in the wind, and without a vision and without a plan of execution. And it's just sad, because that's a waste of money, that's inefficiency, and that's why, unfortunately, we are where we're at with many things.
Council President, if I may.
Yes, Mayor.
This is not a new ordinance. We just strengthened the existing ordinance because we felt like people who will have unleashed dogs weren't being severely punished enough. And so we just strengthened the ordinance and we put in some other provisions that make sure that if you have a yard, that your yard is secure. That is the idea behind this ordinance. Not that we didn't have one, we strengthened it.
We don't comment. Okay, is there anyone else from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I'd like to make a motion we close bond ordinance 7033 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Orman?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lott?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 7034, please.
Bond ordinance providing an appropriation of $66,000 for acquisition of asphalt hot patcher dump trailer for the Division of Public Works for and by the City of Linden in the County of Union, New Jersey, and authorizing the issuance of $62,700 bonds or notes of the city for financing part of the appropriation.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to close the public hearing on ordinance 70-34 and respectfully ask for a second and move the ordinance.
Second.
Mrs. Orman? Javik,
Yes.
Mohammed,
Yes.
Lot,
Yes.
Delgado,
Yes.
Armstead,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hudak,
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis.
Yes. Ordinance 7035, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. Chapter 7, Traffic, 7-15, parking by permit only in designated residential areas, 7-15.7, residential overnight parking permit, delete 7-15.7C1, North Park Avenue, definition, add 7-15.7C, North Park Avenue area.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 70-35. Move for approval and request a second.
Second. Sorry.
Mrs. Orman?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis.
Yes. Ordinance 7036, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-10, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. Chapter 7, Traffic, 7-10, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets. Name of street, add Deerfield Terrace, east side, location from a point 262 feet southerly from Exeter Road, extending 10 feet therefrom.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 70-36. Move for approval and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Orman?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis.
Yes. Ordinance 7037, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic, of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting and enacting the revised general ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic, Section 7-24, turn prohibitions shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. Chapter 7, Traffic, 7-24, turn prohibitions, add street, West Curtis Street, turn prohibition, no left turn onto Keep Street.
Okay, has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance?
John Kaiser, Linden. Man, wow, I had no clue this was even on there. So I'm confused. My aunt is right on the corner of Keep and Curtis. There was I put a joke up one day. It wasn't a joke, it was serious. I said, what are the most abused no left turns in Linden? And my cousin mentioned this one. And I said, no left onto Keep and Curtis. I never even knew it was there. And then I saw the street sign there one day, and it's gone now. So what is this doing? This is adding it? It was there. There was a no left turn. And I thought it was actually from Keep onto Curtis. It's from Curtis onto Keep. And let me just tell you that that's a disaster. It's never going to happen. Everybody is coming off of Curtis and making a left onto Keep. I just don't know if this is going to be, it's not going to be enforceable, first of all. And so the sign was up it got taken down. What was the reason for that? And now you're adding it again?
Chief Hart?
Yeah, I'm not aware of it. I have to look into it for you. I don't know. Do we have the traffic committee? I usually don't sit on those meetings.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't answer it.
Okay, no problem. I definitely have a picture on my phone because I was like, this is the weirdest no left turn in Linden. I just don't know if it's going to be enforceable, but okay, I'll talk to you soon about it. Thanks.
Okay, is there anyone else who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 70-37. Move for approval and request a second.
Second. Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Armstead?
He just stepped out first.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 7038, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7, Traffic of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Acting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and is amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 7, Traffic shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. Chapter 7, Traffic, 7-33, Handicap Parking Regulations, 7-33.1A, Handicap Parking on the Street. Remove 916 West Henry Street. Add 434 1 Brook Street, 305 West Elm Street, 1301 East Henry Street, 916 West Henry Street, 503 Rosewood Terrace, 1510 Winans Avenue. One spot for each of those locations.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 70-38. Move for approval and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 7039, please.
An ordinance creating a new chapter entitled Fire Damaged Structures. Whereas the City Council finds that fire damaged structures pose a threat to public health, safety, and welfare, whereas such structures create risk including structural instability and unauthorized entry, fire hazards, and blight, whereas the city is authorized pursuant to NJSA 40:48-2 and enforces the Uniform Fire Code and Uniform Construction Code. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, there shall be a new chapter created entitled Fire Damaged Structures as follows. Chapter 14B, Fire Damaged Structures.
Has the ordinance been properly published and posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Has any written communication been received?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
Yes, Council President, I move to close the public hearing of ordinance number 70-39. Move for approval and request a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. We'll now move on to consent agenda items. All items listed with asterisks are considered routine by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. Tonight we have items number 1 through 4. Can we have a motion, please?
Hi, I make a motion to approve consent agenda items 1 through 4 and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ormond?
We lost her.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Armstead?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yemakaitis?
Yes. Okay, we'd like to send our best wishes on their retirements to Jimmy Salerno, Sergeant Jimmy Salerno, and in Public Works, our sanitation inspector, Henry Figueredo. We thank you for all your service to our city and wish you the best. Okay, we'll now move on to reports from members of the governing body. All right, we'll start with Councilwoman Ormond. I think we lost her. Councilman Javik.
Thank you, Council President. As chairman of the Fire Committee, the Fire Prevention Bureau collected the following monies during the month of April 2026, a total of $12,182.43. Regarding our Linden Fire Department Emergency Medical Service collections, the amount of $112,884.10 for April 2026 have been added to the total deposits for 2026, totaling $407,466.40. Just as a reminder, our Linden Fire Department's 2026 Junior Fire Academy will be coming up in June. Available for Linden students graduating 7th and 8th grades. Applications are available at Linden Fire Headquarters, 302 Southwood Avenue, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., or via our city website. Participation is June 23rd to June 26th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Regarding our construction code, this department has issued 124 permits and processed 30 certificates, and has issued 134 summonses for the month of April 2026. Monthly revenue is as follows: building, CCO permits and additional permit fees, $586,724. Zoning, $2,025. Court settlements for the month, $20,000. The reflective total being $608,749. Regarding our Board of Health, Council President, we have no updates at this time. Good evening, everyone. I would just like to remind everyone that our rental registration is ongoing to the City of Linden. This is for the safety of all residents. In addition, pre-1978 housing has to have lead-based paint evaluation. If you're in doubt as landlords, please reach out to the Board of Health at 908-474-8409. Also, I have been receiving numerous complaints in the Second Ward regarding neighbors not keeping up with their properties. Whether it's high grass or just a trash situation, we all live together, so please clean it up this weekend so the inspector won't be visiting you the following week. Thank you. I can be reached at 908-494-4608 or email me at bjavick@linden-newjersey.gov. On Facebook, Second Ward Councilman Barry E. Javick. And as always, additional information can be found on our City of Linden website. Council President, end of report.
Thank you, Councilman Javik. Mayor?
I do apologize. Something just came up. I'm going to have to leave a little early this evening. But I wanted to give my report anyway before I left. First, I'd like to talk about some past events that we had. We had the Color Run this weekend. It was the Mayor's Youth Commission's Scholarship Committee. I think it was a very successful event. We'd like to see more people come out next year. The event is used to raise money for our Mayor's Youth Commission Scholarship and our year-end event that we have, a project graduation that we have every year. We've been having it for over 30 years, and what we do, project graduation, we keep the kids from going out, put them all in one location, and for many of them, it's the last time they'll be hanging out together as a group. So we have that run every year, and we'd like to continue with it. We also had a great event this weekend. It was Kids to Park. It was a great day. The weather was tremendous. A lot of families out there, a lot of fun. We gave away ice cream, food, and kids had a great time. That's our effort to get the kids off their handheld devices and out to the park so they can get a little exercise and some additional fun other than playing on their phones and their laptops. On Sunday, we had our Haitian Flag Day raising celebration. That was a tremendous event. Every year, the crowd seems to get bigger and bigger. Linden has a growing Haitian population, and we'd like to recognize them as we do all other cultures in town. Some upcoming events. On Saturday, June 6th at Wilson Park, we'll be hosting our 15th annual fishing derby, honoring Butchie Scholes. The derby will start at 10 a.m. and it will end at approximately 2:30. We'll have the award ceremony. And just a little bit about Butchie Scholes. Butchie Scholes was a former employee here in the City of Linden. He was a great employee. His daughter is one of our first female firefighters. But Butchie was I guess, a new type of employee. He was the kind of guy who could do a little plumbing, a little carpentry, a little electric. He wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. Almost anything you asked Butchie to do, he would do. And when he got sick and we lost him, he was a great loss to our city. So I think, and he liked fishing, so I think it's a great way to honor his presence in our town and the great work that he did by having a fishing derby every year. Also, we have some FIFA watch parties. Our first FIFA watch party will be on June 25th, 4 p.m. It'll be behind the CVS parking lot on the Amon Labs parking lot. The second game to be determined who's going to play against Spain has well, we don't have a date yet for it, but it will be determined. And the finals will be held July 19th, and that time is to be determined once we receive the updates of the finalists. This is from the Linden Board of Education. You're all invited to Linden High School on Tuesday, June 9th at 6 p.m. To see students receive the Seal of Biliteracy, a celebration that we have every year. You'd be surprised at the number of students in Linden that are bilingual. Many of these children come from other countries speaking no English, and within no time at all, many of them are bilingual and pretty much proficient in all of the education aspects. A lot of them come out to be our valedictorians and our top students in our town. Okay, now some other news. Signage is going up for Raising Cane's on 1 and 9. We're hoping to have a ribbon cutting in the summer or the fall. They will be hiring Linden residents, so you have to go in front of the property and scan the QR code on 1 and 9 for applications. Some other good news is One West got their TCO, it's a temporary certificate of occupancy, so 96 apartments are up for lease. And this is after 5 years and $120 million invested. This development is now open for business. We're going to have a ribbon cutting in the fall when the rest of the business gets its final CO. And this development was not easy, but a true testament to the progress we've made over the years. We're also waiting for the NJEDA to issue an RFQ for the property right next door at 101 West Elizabeth Avenue, which is the former New Jersey Transit lot. And we're hoping, at the very least, and looking forward to a state-of-the-art parking garage at that location as well. Some good news from TV 36 and TV 42. So Linden, which we call Linden TV. There's been a major media system upgrade. It has enhanced broadcasting, digital streaming, student opportunities, and future platform expansion. It marks a new era for Linden TV. We're proud to announce that the successful completion of the significant media infrastructure upgrades that modernize the city's public communications capabilities and dramatically expand access to community programming for residents. As part of a comprehensive three-phase upgrade plan, the City of Linden successfully completed major equipment replacements, system modernization initiatives, and operational enhancements designed to improve reliability, accessibility, and long-term broadcasting capabilities. On May 12th, the new cablecast system officially went live, restoring full program broadcasting capabilities while introducing several new viewer enhancements, including enhanced community bulletin integration, tap into Linden feed, Nixle, Everbridge community alerts, and on-screen weather updates, daily community messaging, and quote of the day features. A monthly city events calendar, improved scheduling capabilities, and 24-hour Linden streaming portal, full-screen emergency alert system. The upgrades also represent a major expansion in public accessibility. Residents are no longer required to rely solely on cable television subscriptions to access city programming. Recorded city council meetings, other programmings, and schedules are now available online in real time through a 24-hour streaming portal found on the city's website here at linden-nj.gov/stream. Live council meetings can still be found on Comcast 36 or Verizon 42, as well as for free on the city's YouTube page here. And again, that's www.youtube.com/LindenNJTV. Several months ago, there was the council and I worked on establishing a port authority. I want to inform the residents that we'll be revisiting the concept of a our Port Authority ordinance to help assist with future redevelopments of our Trimley Point area and our waterfronts. This has a lot to do with some proposed plans that are coming forward where barges will be coming in and bringing in materials that will be used to feed our RNG energy. And we need to prepare ourselves so the city can better maintain the waterways there. In addition to that, we have to tighten up some of our rules and regulations with regard to our total waste flow coming into town, because we do perceive that there will be a larger amount of waste coming into the town at some point or another. So last but certainly not least is our non-residential development fee report. Total in the account today is $2,247,666.58. We have a total calculated amount that we should be receiving very shortly, which will be $6,612,267.35. We have some anticipated projects waiting for calculations. That's 4400 Trimley Point Road. That's a marine industrial mixed-use building. 4200 Trimley Point Road Bulk. Safety Clean Tank Farm. 609 Commerce Road, Commercial Edition, and 2067 Edgar Road, Hutton Car Wash. And again, these fees are going to be utilized to help with our what we refer to as our low-income housing program. And again, as you can see, the numbers are looking very impressive, and we're going to have one of the best low-income housing programs in the state. So, and that concludes my report, Mr. President, and I have to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Sorry for that condensed rush report. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councilman Mohammed.
Yes, just want to report that DPW is doing a great job in the areas. The streets are clean. And number two, remember school will be out soon. It's very important to drive carefully and obey the safety rule. We like to wish our Muslim friends of a big holiday called Eid Adha, which we celebrate tomorrow through Thursday, I believe. And I can be reached at 908. I want to also say to the gentleman that was bitten by the dog, my sympathy on behalf of my family and my ward. And I'm very happy that we are working on that, and that won't be. When I first came to this city, I was greeted by a dog biting my 4-year-old son. You know, I wasn't, you know, I felt like doing some unlawful things, but thank God I met the mayor. That's how I met the mayor. He came to my house, and he talked to me, and it was very good that he did talk to me, because I was really thinking about some things that was not legal. So God bless you, sir, and God bless all of you that come to the council. Appreciate you. And also I have to say to you, well, once I'm out of this body, you won't see me anymore. That's it. I won't come and be an extra member of the council. I will respect the council, and I will respect the people's choice. Not that I'm trying to shut anybody down. Everybody has a right to come to the council. God bless you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Lott.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start off with the Budget Review and Finance Report. Approval was requested for the following finance actions. The payment bills totaling $2,373,530.84. Bills have been signed by the Mayor, Council President, and Finance Chairperson, or Chairwoman, excuse me, and detailed check register and vouchers are on file in the Clerk's office. We are in receipt of the investments made by the City Treasurer for the month of April at the rate of 3.49%. I move for approval and ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard.
Abstain.
Mohammed.
Yes.
Lott.
Yes.
Delgado.
Yes.
Armstead.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hudak.
Yes.
Mrs. Yementhezes.
Yes. Continue, Council.
All right, good evening, Council President, fellow council members, and members of the Linden community. I am pleased to provide you with the May Council Report for the 5th Ward. There's a saying that goes, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. When I ran for council, some of the pillars of my campaign were centered around empowering families and children, supporting our seniors, and ensuring accessibility and transparency. And those pillars are what guide me every day while I'm here on council. First, I want to thank all of the constituents who attended my first 5th Ward community meeting on April 29th at the Ann J. Ferguson Towers. It was truly a great event filled with some conversation, connection, and community building. Residents had the opportunity to meet their neighbors, hear updates from the Linden Police Department and Department of Public Works, and openly discuss concerns impacting the ward, including speeding, parking concerns, safety concerns, and other quality of life issues. One of the things I appreciated most about the meeting was how interactive and welcoming it was. We laughed together, we had some hard, honest conversations, we shared ideas, and we even enjoyed some giveaways throughout the night. It reminded me that community meetings should not just be about complaints. They should be about building relationships and making sure residents feel seen, heard, and connected. I'm also really excited to share about our new location that we're having our meetings at the Ann J. Ferguson Towers, because it provides a safe and accessible location for our senior residents to participate. Supporting our seniors has always been important to me, and I never want residents to feel excluded from the community or conversations because of transportation or accessibility issues. So thank you to the Housing Authority for letting that happen. Recently this week, I had a very productive meeting with the mayor along with several current and prospective city partners to discuss future programs and initiatives for our residents. I'm really excited about the opportunities we have coming here in Linden. One initiative I am particularly excited about is the possibility of bringing a HUD-certified first-time homeowner workshop here to the community. Residents who complete the program would receive a certificate that could help them qualify for lower interest rates or down payment assistance through participating lenders, This initiative is personal to me because I can remember when I was campaigning, there was one constituent who shared with me that she had a dream of one day owning a home here in Linden, but she honestly didn't know if it was ever going to be possible. She was currently a renter, wants to own a home. That conversation stayed with me. The ability to help residents move from renting to owning, from hoping to achieving, is powerful. Homeownership creates stability for our families, builds generational wealth, and strengthens our communities, our neighborhoods. I've shared this before, but I didn't grow up in Linden. I grew up in Willingboro, exit 5 on the Turnpike. But my family grew up here in Linden, and I recently bought my grandmother's house. This house is the house that my entire family grew up in, that they created so many memories in. And I'm excited about the prospect of our residents having the same opportunity to build memories. We are also exploring the opportunity to partner with organizations to host an expungement clinic for residents. This is important for so many people because one mistake or one difficult chapter in their life can change the trajectory of their life. It can impact employment opportunities, housing opportunities, and financial stability for years. I can remember taking a course at King University called Death in Perspective, and one of the events we had to do was we had to visit Rahway State Prison. And during that visit, we got to speak with a number of inmates. And I can remember this one speech that an inmate gave. And he said, "I am no different from anyone else in this room. I just made one poor decision and it changed my entire life." Everyone deserves the opportunity to move forward. Everyone deserves a second chance. So providing resources like this can allow to empower our residents and to have a stronger connection with our families and our communities. I'm really excited about that program coming here and giving that opportunity to our residents. Lastly, I'm really excited about partnering with the Urban League of Union County to support this city's summer student interns through our financial literacy initiative. Students will participate in workshops focused on budgeting, saving, and financial responsibility. And we are also working with banking partners to help students open their first banking accounts. And also we're going to be having donated funds to have deposited into their account when they initially open it. To me, this is bigger than just opening up a banking account. It's about exposing our young people to opportunities, teaching them healthy financial habits early, and helping them understand that they can build wealth, plan for their future, and achieve success. Sometimes all our children need is just exposure and guidance, and we can really help just propel them in the right direction. At the end of the day, I'm here to be of service to others, and I remain committed to listening, advocating, building partnerships, and continuing to work and to support the residents of the 5th Ward and all throughout Linden. As always, I can be reached at 908-718-7987 or kayla.lott@linden-nj.gov. Respectfully submitted, 5th Ward Councilwoman.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Delgado.
Council President and colleagues, indulge me. I received another assignment as well, so it is not my fault for the time. We're going to first cover the personnel report. Personnel report as follows. Police, amend the hire date for 2 dispatchers from June 1st, 2026 to June 29th, 2026. Fire Department, approve the initiation of the process of appointing 3 to 6 firefighter candidates for the September 2026 Fire Academy. Board of Health, accept the resignation in good standing of Crystal Leslie, Clerk 1, effective April 24th, 2026. Department of Community Services, approve the seasonal list on file in the Clerk's office. Recreation Department, approve the internal and external posting for omnibus driver full-time at a salary range of $32,760 to $45,500. Approve the internal and external posting for omnibus driver part-time at the hourly salary range of $18 per hour to $25 per hour. Approve the seasonal list on file in the clerk's office. And finally, personnel, approve the FMLA, NJFLA requests on file in the Personnel Division. I respectfully move this agenda and ask for a second.
Second.
Mrs. Mr. Javits.
Yes.
Mohammed.
Yes.
Watt.
Yes.
Delgado. Yes. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hudak.
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakovis.
Yes. Go ahead, Councilman.
I want to acknowledge Ty and Angelo from the 6th Ward. Thank you for being here. Thank you for speaking out in favor of the ordinance. And really, really quickly, because I did this in a different meeting, but it is the law that regulates dog incidents is from 1989, 1988, and has not been updated in all those years. And there's a lot of subsections of that law and case law that has come out that basically ties our hands with the things we can do at this moment. What we did here was what we could change and up the fines and up new sections, we did. So for example, sometimes there's a difference between my dog got lost versus dogs perpetually getting out of yards that have caused issues in the community. So there was a section, that whole section, we were able to input a lot more confinements there with fencing. We worked with the Board of Health, zoning, I don't know if, zoning left, zoning, code and construction, and the legal department did a thorough review. There were some things in there that got struck out because of case law that has occurred over the years based on that law from the late 80s. I said months ago that this is a first step of what we can do here in Linden, but really the state law of New Jersey that governs what a potentially dangerous dog is versus a vicious dog does need a change. Because potentially dangerous, if you kill another domestic animal, you could have, anyone could own a potentially a dangerous dog if they follow the regulations, which includes higher licensing fees, fencing requirements, inspections, but they can still own that dog. To be considered a vicious dog, where the city or the government could actually put that dog humanely down, you really have to maim or severely injure or kill a human being. Very strict by the law. Case law has been existing for the last 30 years, and it's very difficult to work with. But we did the best we could here, and I'm prepared to go to the state level in order to ask Senator Troy Singleton to reintroduce his bill again and get that law updated for modern times, because it happens way too often, not just in Linden, but everywhere where these dog bites and dangerous situations are occurring. And residents have called me and say, well, this is gonna happen. Like, why do we have to wait until something really bad happens? That's how the law is structured for right now. All right, and now for my ward report. All right, good evening, 6th Ward. I do want to start this report, and I'm very glad that he's actually in the audience, by acknowledging Public Works and Public Works Week. Mr. Dave Martinez is our Assistant Superintendent of Public Works, and Transportation and Properties, and all the people that do so much work for the 6th Ward and in Linden. I'm in constant communication with DPW almost every day about various things and issues that come up in the ward. The list never seems to shrink because once I'm like, okay, we're done, we're good, something else new happens. Dave and all the guys there that I communicate with, Mr. Pantina, the professionalism is just so high, and I am so grateful for the work you guys do every single day for this city, and it does not go unnoticed. Really, these departments, Transportation Properties, DPW, they are the bloodline. They're the blood that keeps the city flowing, honestly. So I just want to acknowledge and thank you guys for all your hard work and dedication to the 6th Ward and to the city of Linden. My communication doesn't just end, though, with Transportation Properties and DPW. I mean, Board of Health, Construction Code Enforcement, our Linden Police Department, Engineering, HR, Personnel, Treasury, every single employee. You work so hard to make the 6th Ward and this city a better place. And I thank you for putting up with all the emails and phone calls and sometimes text messages. But in all seriousness, it's really appreciated. It does not go unnoticed, everything you guys do. And we ask you for a lot, and sometimes with even less resources. So thank you for making it all happen. I am very happy to report that illegal business that was operating on Liberty, it does seem like through our efforts that the illegal business has ceased operations. We're going to continue monitoring that situation very closely because illegal car repair shops disturb the quality of life of our residents. They don't belong in residential areas where they're waking people up, taking all the parking. It took a couple months, but we were consistent on it. And I also want to thank the residents of that street that were consistently advocating to me and making sure that their little quiet street stayed quiet. So good news to report there. That would be the second illegal business in the 6th Ward that has been shut down. Hopefully that ends it, but we will monitor and stay on top of it. And Construction Code, thank you so much for everything you did for those efforts. On South Style Street, this business that had the giant refrigerated trucks disturbing the peace and quiet of our residents at night were relocated. And again, thank you Construction Code and Enforcement for the diligent work and a quick response, because that was within hours that they got on that and fixed that situation. The broken curb on West Simpson and Stiles was also repaired, so thank you, Nick, Transportation Properties, DPW, for completing that. On Rebecca, the entrance of that street has been designated as a no parking area for safety reasons. We are waiting for the appropriate signage to be placed, but I have addressed the management of the car wash and the construction company there, through our engineering department, to basically get their cars off that street and stop making the intersection very congested. Everyone's complying, and that's very good news there to increase safety. Also in that neighborhood, Smith Street, Conrail has gotten rid of the dead, dangerous trees, and I'm going to say diseased and dead, dangerous trees that were consistently damaging resident properties over the years. So Conrail did handle that situation finally. In terms of the weeds and stuff that sometimes grows over there, everything's under control right now, but that's something we're going to continuously monitor and be in contact with Conrail in order for them to maintain. Ongoing communication with the Department of Transportation, State of New Jersey, for additional enhancements to the 1 and 9 to make our lives easier. The trucks. I hope to have more on that next month, but there's been a lot of updates there already and more to come. It was very nice to see all the 6 warders that came to Kids to Park Day. Thank you to our dedicated staff and to our volunteers, some who are also staff, who made this day a complete success. Building and forging that bond of community is what I believe Linden is truly about. Madam President, if you indulge me for one more minute. And I was very happy to see so many smiling families at the park. Some of you may not know, but May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. For too many families, mental illness is something they navigate with shame because our society still looks at people with mental illness as if that's something that they could fix on their own. Just get yourself together, shrug it off, just pick yourself up by the bootstraps. So many people hide the fact that they have schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, and so many other mental illnesses that afflict, and I believe it afflicts every family. And not only does it hurt those individuals when society is so callous and does not take compassion upon them, but also the families. So many caretakers, so many family members are dealing day in and day out with someone in their family with mental illness. And they come to work with a smile, pretend everything's okay, that nothing's wrong, and then have to go home and try to keep everything together and keep themselves together. So I just want to acknowledge to everyone who is suffering from a mental illness that I see you, and that our Linden Police Department sees you, our health department sees you, because our Linden Police Department, they've done so much work to train the officers to know how to respond appropriately and with compassion with these situations. And I can tell you, not many police departments do that. And not many police departments take the time and effort to make sure that they are compassionate, that there is no stigma. So I want to thank Chief Hart and our police department for taking a lead with that. And our health department as well has done tremendous work with advocating and raising awareness about mental illness, because mental illness is real. For all the families and caretakers of people who are mentally ill, I see you. I acknowledge you, and I give you my love and support, because it's not easy. It is not easy having to wake up every day worrying, like, is this the day when I'm at work I get a phone call that something tragic happened? So with May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. Let's take mental health illness seriously. Let's be compassionate. And Madam President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone who's here with us today and those at home watching and staying engaged with our community. As we head into the warmer month, I want to remind everyone to please keep your grass cut and property maintained. A clean neighborhood helps, keeps our ward looking beautiful, and protects our property value. If you're unable to cut your grass for any reason, health, equipment issue, or otherwise, please reach out to me. If I can assist in any way, I will do my best to help. I also want to ask for your help for identifying potholes, damaged sidewalks, or any street issues in the ward. If you see something, contact me so we could add it to the list and address it as quickly as possible. I'd like to take a moment to thank our city treasurer, Ms. Zach, and her entire team, along with the Mayor Armstead, our Council President Yamakaitis, for their excellent work on the 2026 budget. This year's budget is more efficient, more focused, includes smart cuts that reduce waste while protecting essential services. More importantly, it does this without raising our taxes, which is a real benefit for the community they will feel throughout the year. As always, I am here for you. If you need anything, please reach me at 908-858-0269 or email me at arodriguez@linden-nj.gov. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Hudak.
Thank you. So Memorial Day is upon us, and this is a day that we honor and we mourn those who have served to protect our freedoms. I'm a 55-year-old resident, and my family has served in the armed forces since World War II. So as you gather with your family and with your friends outside to celebrate, just understand that these liberties were made possible by those who sacrificed their lives. Be mindful of the volume of music that's played. We have neighbors who work shifts, small children who need to sleep, and those who just appreciate a quiet neighborhood for their own mental health wellness. Thank you for being kind and respectful to others. Also, we do have some police patrols in the area, and I could say this with authority because I pulled over 2 marked cop cars just to say thank you for patrolling our area. And then I saw a suspicious vehicle, so I called a cop on a cop in an unmarked car, just because it looked suspicious. And speaking about our officers, and I'm going to touch on what Councilman Delgado mentioned, we have a special unit, and that is known as our CIT. That's our Crisis Intervention Unit. And they will listen to anyone who is struggling. And I know for a fact several of my residents have utilized this service with great respect to our officers and great success. And it's a resource. We have so many resources with our police department, and it's not just to call when there is something that you see suspicious, but it's also for you. And they are highly trained, and we do have probably one of the best in the state. Also, I want to thank our team of volunteers who did make Kids to Park Day a huge success. We just show up, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. And these volunteers, they usually go unnoticed. And we do have a volunteer in our audience. Her name is Mindy. And Mindy is always there to volunteer, the first one to volunteer. And absolutely. And they always go unnoticed. But I want to let her know, and everyone else know that who volunteers, that you know what, you are seen and you are appreciated. And also Chairman Bodak and the Union County Board of Commissioners, they're going to be hosting a Touch a Truck event. So mark your calendars. This is a great event. It's on Saturday, June 13th at Oak Ridge Park in Clark, beginning at 11 a.m. This is a fabulous hands-on educational event, and you not only have to be a kid yourself, you could also be a Toys R Us kid like me, because it is so much fun, and I encourage everyone to go out to it. And especially thank you to Mr. Chairman Bodak for organizing this event. It is very well put together. If you need to contact me, please email me. My address is chudak@linden-nj.gov. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Okay. Councilman Armstead had to leave early this evening. He's not feeling well, but he wanted me to mention to the 8th Ward, the parking permits are available. You can either come to City Hall to the Traffic Bureau, or you can obtain them online at, if you go on our website, if you hit the tab for the police department and scroll down, look for parking permits, you can apply online. The parking permits that we are encouraging people to get are for the Bayway area, the entire Bayway area. We'll be having overnight parking permits from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning, so please get your permits. If you have any questions, you can call the Traffic Bureau, you can call Councilman Armstead or myself. We'll be more than happy to help you. I also wanted to mention our budget presentation. Alexis, I'd like to thank you for, again, a wonderful presentation, very informative. You explained a lot of details to our residents, but I also wanted to mention a shout out is Public Works Week. Dave Martinez, thank you, Public Works, for all you guys do, but also your other sidekick, Jimmy Buckley. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention him. He helped out with the budget as well. So thank you to all the men and women in your department who keep the city of Linden running basically every day. Without you guys, we'd really be a mess. So, June 13th is Relay for Life in Rawway. We have a team called Team Linden. A couple of us got together. We had several small group of teams and decided the police department was the first team to do this. So we're trying to encourage our city employees, our residents, join us. Relay for Life helps support the American Cancer Society. All of us know somebody that either had cancer, have a relative or a colleague. Without the donations that the Cancer Society receives, a lot of treatments would not be available today. The death rate, thank goodness, is going down with so many innovative research progress going on. So if anybody would like to join Team Linden or make a donation, you don't have to walk, you can join us at Rawway Park on June 13th. If you have any questions, you can call myself, Chief Hart, Lieutenant Richmond is part of it. We're more than happy to help give you information on that. So please come out and support Relay for Life, and if you'd like to join Team Linden, if you go on the Relay for Life, look up Team Linden, and you can join our team or make a donation to it. Okay, also I wanted to mention Memorial Day coming up. We have numerous monuments around the city of Linden. As Councilwoman Hudak said, many of us are, yes, we all like to spend time with our families, barbecuing, but please don't forget our veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice. The veterans in Linden will be running a bus on Memorial Day to all monuments, so please, if you have a few minutes, try to get out to at least one of the monuments and give your support and remember those who made their sacrifices. That's all I have for this evening. There's a Senior Arts and Wellness Day Festival on Wednesday, May 27th for the seniors at Peach Orchard Park on Dill Avenue from 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. It's a free event with live entertainment, arts and crafts, exercise games, walking activities, and refreshments. There is a registration deadline of May 20th, which is tomorrow. Residents can register at the front desk at the JTG or LMPC or the main office of the resident building. So please, if you know somebody interested, encourage them to sign up for the Senior Art and Wellness Festival. Okay, before we move on to resolutions, I just want to remind people, if you'd like to speak during the public comment portion, please sign in on the sheet in front of the room. Okay, we'll move on to resolutions tonight. We have resolutions 233 through 281. Can we have a motion, please?
Council President, I move resolutions 233 through 281 and respectfully ask for a second.
Second.
Mr. Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado? Yes. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Okay, next we have ordinances on introduction. Okay, we're going to start with ordinance 7040, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden. 1999, passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 7 Traffic, Section 7-22.1, four-way stop intersections shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. Add Summit Terrace and Fernwood Terrace. Stop signs should be located at Summit Terrace and Fernwood Terrace and Summit Terrace.
Okay, can we have a motion for introduction of ordinance 7040, please?
Yes, Council President, I move for introduction of ordinance number 70-40 and request a second.
Second.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 7041, please.
An ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 7 Traffic of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance Adopting and Enacting the Revised General Ordinances of the City of Linden, 1999. Passed November 23rd, 1999, and approved November 24th, 1999, and as amended and supplemented. Be it ordained by the Council of the City of Linden, Section 1, that Chapter 7 Traffic shall be, and the same is hereby amended as follows. 7-33 handicap parking regulations, 7-33.1A handicap parking on street. Remove 428 Brook Street, one space, and add 1027A University Terrace, one space.
Okay, can we have a motion for introduction, please?
Yes, Council President, I move for introduction of ordinance number 70-41 and request a second.
Second.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak? Yes. Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Ordinance 7042, please.
Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Linden, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting the Marshes Docks Road redevelopment plan pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 48:12A-1 at sequence.
Can we have a motion for introduction, please, of ordinance 7042?
Yes, Council President, and I move for introduction of ordinance number 70-42 and request a second.
Second.
Javik?
Yes.
Mohammed?
Yes.
Lot?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Mrs. Yamakaitis?
Yes. Okay, now we'll move on to comments from members of the public in attendance. Not to exceed 3 minutes. We'll start with John Kazar.
John Kaiser, Linden. So our worst member of council in the history of Linden's back, and he has smart remarks for the people in the audience. What'd you call this man, an extra member of council? That man's running for mayor. Let's give him a little respect for that. A lot of you got people running against you this year. He did in 3 years what you should have been doing in 10, I guess it is now. He asked the right questions. He questioned the mayor on his nepotism clause when you guys amended it. And that's the reason he's not up there right now. So the mayor, I knew he was going to clap back on what I had to say earlier, that next year, you know, maybe we'll have festivals again. And of course he'll bring them back next year because he won't worry about a tax increase if he does get reelected. He said it himself. He gave me a little soundbite. I liked it. He said we were in financial trouble. And you're going to see it. We saw it this year already. The snowstorm, the blizzards were failures because of no overtime, because we have to cut costs now. Mr. Antonelli, I'm not your adversary. I'm not ChatGPT. I wish I could use ChatGPT to go through your emails, though, real quick. You weren't there last night. You got there after I already spoke about my Oprah request that I put through in January, and it was told it was overly broad. I pared it down, and in March they said I need 3 more weeks. No problem. It's a law. You're allowed to. 3 weeks later, they need 3 more weeks. No problem. It's the law. Then I have to walk in here and ask about it, and then call the lawyer that does it, and then, of course, the next day, overly broad. So I pared it down again, okay? So help me cut through the red tape, man. Last year, you said that you didn't pass 6928 and 6929 because of threats of litigation. I pared it down now. It was 2 years. Now it's 6 months. Now it's just 2 months. And I got rid of everybody I asked. I asked for council members, clerk, everything. Now it's just you and the mayor. I want you to how was this conveyed? Email? That's how I'm asking. I want to see proof that you guys were threatened with litigation. That's why you killed these ordinances. That's why they're never going to come back. So can you help me with that?
I will have a conversation with Mr. Bodak about, I haven't seen the Oprah request. I will have a conversation with him, but that wasn't the only reason, but a reason. But yeah, there were some threats of litigation made against this council if they were to proceed with those 2 ordinances.
And, you know, I brought up last night that there's a councilman down in Jackson. They have a lot of the issues down there, too. And, you know, he said sooner or later one of these municipal governments is going to have to grow some balls and stand up and go ahead and do what they were supposed to do instead of killing those ordinances like you did last year. So are we able to just cut through the chase and just show me the emails I'm asking for?
Like I said, I'll speak to Mr. Bodak, and either he or I or council will get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
I haven't seen the Oprah request, so I have to take a look at it. I just want to remind everybody that the only audible noises are at the microphone when it's your time to speak. Thank you.
Okay. Virginia Mallett?
Got to put my other set of eyes on. Virginia Malik, Linden. I'm going to preface what I'm going to be saying, but it all stems on illegal housing, boarding houses, car shops that have come up, and some of these are actually in my neighborhood. People from Linden, I think you should be listening up. We have games that people are playing in Linden and running rampant. Anyone can buy a house in Linden. I'm not in construction code, I'm not in planning, so things may be a little different if a structure is not considered a residence. But from what I understand, that if you're in a residential area, it has to be a residence. Also, what I found out, in residential areas, you can't have a business in a residence. So with these requirements, or with these stipulations, there are residents that are becoming different from what they were designed for. And I had brought up something about trash cans. This is like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And when I was found, people were kind of looking, I can't see the clock.
1 minute 48 seconds.
Okay, so I have to really kind of scoot through this. So nothing really came of it. But then last year, I found that they started doing other things, maybe a business in this residence. This is the 300 block on Princeton. But also I'm finding out that they're changing the ownership of these residents. There's another residence that is in the Sunnyside area, and that was originally as a house. And now I'm finding that there's something else. But one thing that's kind of peculiar, just a couple of months ago, the owner had changed, and now it's an LLC. Very, very interesting. So the question that I have is that when you start changing these ownerships of the houses from, I'll just say ownership of the houses, what the residence was originally assigned, does that carry through, or can you go through another permitting process or an application? Because I can't get any answers from the city, either from the attorney, from the council. Things are all kind of kibosh. But this is the interesting thing. When you change the residency or you change the ownership, okay, how does that really affect what the rules of that original structure was? I'm getting so frustrated with this that, first off, I think this is a disgrace. This is happening in the city of Linden, but also in other places, that maybe higher up government, maybe the county, maybe the state, I can address these questions to. And again, it's as you change the ownership, and this goes back and forth, how does the rules and regulations of that property change? So that's all I have to say, and I guess I ran out of time.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bauer.
Oh, is there going to be a response from anybody?
I mean, just briefly, so in other words, if someone owns a property, a house in their individual name, and then now it's being transferred into an LLC, I mean, I was just looking at our ordinance now to see if that would trigger a certificate of occupancy, which, as you're probably aware, is when you sell a property, when you sell a house, the seller is required to get a certificate of occupancy that's presented to the buyer at closing. So I'm just checking our ordinance now. I'm without looking at it, because I'm looking it up, but I'm going to say that if it's just a transfer from an individual to an LLC that they are, in essence, a member of, that would likely not trigger this certificate of occupancy, because there may not have been a sale. Could have been transferred for $1.
And that's the case. And then also
There you go.
with these transfers, and also how you apply for something, the original application, things get blown out of proportion. Things have changed with that particular. So, and you can't even follow how has that house transferred, because you can't see, you can only see the last certificate or the last ownership of that
Mrs.
house.
Malik, your time.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
the state may hear from me.
Okay, Mr. Angelo, you signed up to speak? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, Pat Hero?
I think the council president should give some of the citizens more time to speak, just like she gave Councilman Delgado more time to speak. We used to be able to speak for 5 minutes, now we're down to 3. Seems kind of unfair. Anyway, I was quoting the $1,886,695 from sheet 3B, and I was glad that Treasurer Zach told me that it was $11,886,695, so I had stand corrected from what sheet 3B said for the cap calculation. But what I'd like to know, and I probably wouldn't find out now and have to do a little bit more research, is how much is that taking away in our school taxes, and how much the residents were going to have to pay from that. That would be rather interesting. There are some other rather interesting things too, like why the large jump in salaries and wages in the mayor's office from $339,800, which does seem like a large amount of money to me anyway, to $381,900. On a personal note, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but this year happens to be not only Linden Comes to the World, but the semi-quincentennial of the Declaration of Independence. The kind of document that says that one, our rights does not come from government because any government that gives us rights can take them away, but our rights come to us from God, and it's government's obligation to protect our rights of a citizen. And yet somehow Linden is somewhat strange, it seems to me. Other communities are celebrating this. Union is having all sorts of celebrations. Each and every month they're having a celebration on this. But Linden, crickets. You would think that, that there's nothing to celebrate. Yeah, sure, FIFA for those who love soccer. FIFA, the World Cup is a great opportunity. It's quite amazing. We're going to be experiencing quite a few events in the state of New Jersey, including the finale. But you know what? The Declaration of Independence is a pretty important document. Wars were fought. As we said, the Memorial Day weekend's coming up. People died for our freedom. You know what? Maybe we should respect the fact that the Declaration of Independence is a very important event. July 4th is a very important event. And maybe we should do a little bit more in Linden to appreciate the Declaration of Independence. I do understand Thomas Jefferson, there are some personal issues Thomas Jefferson had. I understood it. But the Declaration of Independence is a great document, and it established our freedom as a country, and we fought more for that. Thank you.
Ed Kaminsky.
Limited in our time, so I want to make sure I'm making best use of the time. Thank you so much. It's a little block, but I'll try to give it a go. So we don't have too much time, so I apologize for rushing through this again. Sorry for your loss, what happened here, and to the victims of the crime just a block away from here. Heard some dancing today. I mean, bottom line is Linden, because, some things were blamed on county, state government. Bottom line is we have people from Linden at highest levels of every level of government work with them. They're Linden residents too. So I don't buy that BS. I'm sorry. Work with the people you need to work with to get this stuff done. Quality of life, is a focus of mine. And just coming off of the turnpike, 278, and I believe Mr. Kaiser, to his credit, brought it up like months ago. I was going to comment on it. We're talking about almost a year. Garbage right by the refinery, right on that big ramp. Okay, during one of the snowfalls, it was pushed back, but of course, Mr. Armstead from the 8th Ward isn't there. You're from the 8th Ward. That garbage is still there. It looks like a dumping ground. And then, of course, either way you come in through Wood Avenue, now there's a very appropriate shadow by these ugly buildings being cast that dominate the skyline, if you want to call it that. It's just pathetic and sad, quite frankly. Road conditions, again, we're going on a year. Elizabeth Avenue, just every neighborhood seems to be a construction zone and just beating up the cars and, quite frankly, the citizens. And it's interesting, the stuff that we talk about here, but, we don't focus. People, and I'm not going to mention by name, you can figure it out if you have any presence on social media, spend inordinate amounts of time on social media that are people in government instead of getting stuff done and about the most trivial things. And one thing I do also want to mention, is the parking. A couple months ago, unfortunately, I was traveling on business, so I wasn't able to address it. But there was a vote made to basically double the cost of the parking at Linden train station. Mr. Delgado, you have to get to the train station. It's in your ward. It's pathetic what's going on there and filthy. But it was said, again, there was a lot of dancing, oh, it's New Jersey Transit. It's not ours. Then why did you guys vote? And every one of you voted in the affirmative, right, to raise that fee. The reason being is because they can't do it without your permission. And Linden has a vested interest. You're getting part of that revenue. To do what? I don't know. And that's why I'm coming to you, Mr. Delgado. I go there every day. First thing in the morning, smelling, the guys smoking weed there. Then you go in, you just look at the trash strewn all over the place. The parking thing, it looks like a war zone, like people like fighting, honking. It's horrible. Spend and focus your time on things that need to be addressed. And ma'am, you talked about, people that are incarcerated, made examples. Let's focus on the victims of the crime. My heart bleeds. I was literally just missed the actual lady being dragged out. We have many victims of crime in Linden. We need to focus on those poor souls. Thank you.
Mr. Kaminsky, regarding Route 278, those underpasses, I'd like to thank Tracy from our construction code official. Numerous letters were sent. It was always pointing the fingers in the other way. It's not Linden property. DOT and Port Authority were saying, no, it's their problem. No, it's their problem. Tracy reached out to somebody she knew in there, and they are going to be addressing that, and they're also going to be putting up fencing so people can't get down into those ramps. They were emergency exit ramps for during snowstorms, and it's going to be a costly venture for the Department of Transportation. There's construction materials that were dumped there in the middle of the night. I mean, you cannot even get down those ramps. So, of course, everybody was pointing the fingers in the other direction. So, but I'd like to thank Tracy for putting the extra effort in. We sent letters to no avail. She was able to cut through some of the tape and get it done for us. So, okay. All right. Carlos Rivas.
Carlos Rivas, Linden, New Jersey. Over the past several months, residents have watched ordinances move forward to continue increase of city debt, while also raising serious legal and procedural concerns under the New Jersey municipal law. Concerns we witness again tonight. Decisions that they are going to impact residents' rights, property, finances, and quality of lives should never move forward without transparency, proper legal review, and meaningful public discussions. Government should be working with the people, not around them. We're not their adversaries, and I hope that ChatGPT will not smart you. At the same time, people of Linden are told that Linden is financially stable. Public records show that more than $100 million we have in long-term debt obligations. Residents deserve transparency about the city through financial conditions, future liabilities, and long-term planning, because ultimately it's the taxpayers who pays the burden. Many families are now paying the price for poor planning, unchecked overdevelopment, and decisions that appear beneficial for the citizen when in reality they are not. It is not secret that many people in our city are afraid to speak openly. Residents fear retaliations, employees fear intimidation, and business owners fear becoming targets of the administration. A healthy government should welcome criticism, not create an atmosphere where people are afraid to speak. We continue to hear concern for employees who feel pressure to attend political fundraisers of events to finance support the positions of the people that are over their authority. No public employee should feel that political participation is connected to their job or opportunities within the city government. Employees continue to file grievances, and they are seeking outside investigators to involve and investigate cases of harassment, labor disputes, and the workplace culture in our city offers serious concerns. At the same time, development continues to move forward in our city. Linden's identity is replacing community landmarks. We're about to look for finances to sell our airport. And the infrastructure is continuing to appear without understanding that the citizens need a better quality of life. Residents deserve transparency among the projects that we are asking them to support. Linden deserves better. We deserve transparency. We deserve accountability. We deserve leadership that puts residents before politics and special interests. No one of this will change unless the people of Linden stays together. Enough is enough. This is the time for change, and the change is in your hands. Thank you.
Armando Augusti.
Good evening, Council. My name is Armando Augusti. I'm the owner of property located at 4 St. Mark's in Linden. I have been a resident of Linden for 28 years. I've tried to support our city and work cooperatively with local government. I'm not here tonight for conflicts, which you're aware of what I'm here for. I'm here regarding the equal treatment regarding the ongoing enforcement actions involving my property. For more than 26 years, the dead-end portion of Pennsylvania Avenue adjacent to my property receives little to no maintenance or attention from the city. During the time, I personally have invested my own money, efforts to maintain and improve the area for safety, accessibility, and appearance of the neighborhood. All of a sudden, I began receiving concerns regarding my property. During a meeting with the mayor, city officials, and myself, I was informed that the city was advised by its insurance carrier that the coverage could be affected if this short, dead-end portion of Pennsylvania Avenue did not maintain clear access of emergency vehicles. I understood the concern and clearly acted immediately in good faith to correct the issue exactly as directed by city representatives. That access has been cleared now for over 2 months already, resolved, in full compliance with city instructions. However, despite my cooperation, the enforcements continue, expanding matters into unrelated from the original concern. I'm now being asked to remove concrete, blacktop, walkways that have improved, a paper street that I personally maintained at my own expense, flagpoles, movable barbecues, trees, landscapings, without being given fair opportunity to move forward towards amicable resolutions. As someone who has continuously attempted to cooperate, this ongoing escalation has begun to feel less as a corruptive process and more like an intimidation and harassment. The continued focus on unrelated issues as the original concern was resolved. During that meeting, the main concern was to keep the roadway clear for emergency vehicles. To go to a creek, that's fine. To get to the rear of a building, that's fine. The road's been clear. That's not the issue anymore. But the enforcements continue. Now I have issues with an air conditioner that sits 8 inches in the airspace, 22 feet up in the air. This is not fair. I also want to remind Council I previously appeared before this governing body regarding the same unused portion of roadway commonly referred as to a paper road. During those discussions, these appear to be general agreements to move forward leasing this unused area because it serves no active municipal purpose and is not utilized by the public. For that reason, I was very surprised to later learn that the proposed resolution was removed from the agenda without explanation or communication. That lack of transparency only increased my concerns regarding how this matter was being handled. I respectfully ask the Council to review this matter and ensure residents without discrimination.
Sir, your time is up.
Thank you.
Okay, Jennifer Brooks.
Jennifer Brook, 1551 Dill Avenue. Hi, my councilwoman. I haven't needed you or anything like that, but I do have a concern about the meetings at 1601. That is a federal building. I think it's a conflict of interest because their lawyer is your lawyer here. I know for myself, I will not attend, and I like you. I actually we met at the last election. I was supporting Rivas, and She was running, her mom's great, you know, we could agree to disagree, it was all good. But I don't think it's right, I think it's a conflict. For myself, I won't go unless things are being videotaped. That's why I haven't been to any of the meetings that they had the previous months, because they didn't have anybody videotaping. There's a lot of seniors in Morowski and JTG that had conflicts with Dr. Berghammer, so they won't go. And now today, I hear the mayor's giving a trip to go see Michael, the movie. Now, it's election season, I don't know what's going on, but our buildings weren't notified about it. I won't go, but it was brought to my attention, and I speak up for seniors. I worked at a nursing home for 15 years. So I wanted to make you aware of that. They used to use the Jersey lanes, and also we have the Linden Multipurpose Center. We have a senior citizen bus. We could bring people over, you know. And also, the men who do our park across the street, Iosi, they're awesome. That park looks beautiful when they do it. So please give them credit and don't take them away from us. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can we have a motion to close the public comment portion of the meeting, please?
Council President, I move to close the public portion of the meeting and respectfully ask for a second. I would
Second.
Javik?
Yes.
Lott?
Yes.
Delgado? Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Kisimis-Jomakaitis?
Yes. Okay, the next council meetings will be as follows. Council meeting Monday, June 15th at 6 p.m. in the council conference room, City Hall. Council conference meeting prior to the council meeting Tuesday, June 16th at 6 p.m. in the council conference room. Council meeting Tuesday, June 16th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. These meetings will be held in person. Can we have a motion to adjourn, please?
Council President, I move to adjourn the meeting and respectfully ask for a second.
Second.
Javik?
Yes.
Lott?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Yes.
Hudak?
Yes.
Kisimis-Jomakaitis?
Yes. Good night, everyone.
We're ending.
Yep.
And I'll be restricted to 2 minutes from now on.